The last time we had this show was towards the end of May when Arsenal were lifting the Premier League title. But 3 months have gone past. We're back again to this grind. And this is your Gameweek 1 Premier League preview show. Welcome back to All About Arsenal. And tonight we're going to have some time out to talk about all the games that we played in the Premier League. This was a series that we launched last season, which I would say was a success because we get to have other panelists from other clubs give their own opinions of how the games went by. We had loads of folks from Man United, Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea. If we had a sports fan, Clinton, come on once. Tonight, I have some panelists that are going to join me. They're running a bit late, I guess. But we're going to spend some time out, talk about all the games that we played so far in the Premier League this weekend. Starting from, of course, the champions doing their thing on Friday. And, of course, the Saturday games and the ones that happened today. And we're going to take some time out to also preview the Chelsea game that's going to happen tomorrow. So, guys, it's been quite a journey so far all about Arsenal, where we've been having this same series, and it's been fun. And of course, we're going to continue in the same stead, where we talk about the Premier League games that took place this weekend. After a very long wait, Premier League action is back. And of course, you know what that means. Despite the fact that you focus on your own team and enjoy the football that we play at Arsenal, we get to hate watch. I know hate watch can be fun, such fun. The lunchtime fixture, Mahatma Gandhi once said I should not back it up. And for those that play FPL, of course, you know how it was. Those that Captain Bruno Fernandes got the hit. So we have Mr. God. How you doing, bro? Welcome to the channel, making his debut. Good to have you, brother. How are you?
I'm good, bro. Thank you so much. Come to another Premier League weekend.
Yeah, so the wait for this Premier League has been long. The last time we saw Premier League action was in May, and of course there was the distraction of the World Cup. So what was your take on the Premier League players that performed in the World Cup before the season started?
The Premier League players that actually performed in the World Cup. Well, to me, honestly, I really didn't feel them a lot like that. You know, it made me, honestly, the World Cup even made me rethink the Premier League again. If it's actually
really?
If it's actually the strongest league that we even thought it was. Because even most of the players, I would not take it away from some of the English players, but the ones that are playing the Premier League, especially, I think the only person that stood out for me was one of the persons that stood out for me was Enzo in Argentina.
Argentina, yeah.
So, but then sometimes you look at the players around that plays with these people. So these players that play with these people, if they give them, for instance, like Messi and co, when you have certain players that you know that okay, these players are actually playing for big clubs and they can like I can make an impact with these people, and then they are not as big as I am or something, just when there's a spotlight on that person. But then when everybody there is like maybe a star or something, if you look at England, I really don't understand the pattern of football they want to play. I don't know if I'm going to blame Tuchel or I'm going to blame the players, but then I really didn't feel the impact of English players. Like, I won't say English players, I'll say the Premier League players or the players who play in the Premier League in the World Cup, honestly. I think the Spanish guys and co, they did better, man.
Yeah, fair enough. Good to have you. So we have Ebuka back. How you doing, bro? It's been a while, man. You're looking very sad. Is it because of Hull City? No, don't worry. We're going to get to this slide. But I was asking my man, God, a question around, how the Premier League players performed in the World Cup. And he has given me his own take. So I'd like to hear your own take. What is your take on the Premier League players that performed in the recently concluded World Cup? Were they impressive enough?
Yeah, so I mean Premier League players in general, right? Yeah, I think they were England in general. I think yes, they really were, because if you look at the World Cup as in its entirety, right? apart from players from Barcelona, Madrid. I mean, I think Premier League players literally took, like, they were at the forefront. They performed so well. They performed excellently. Um, you could look at the likes of Haaland. You could look at the likes of Bellingham. Who else?
Bellingham is not in the Premier League now.
Oh, sorry.
Exactly.
What's his name? Oh, that's actually true. Like when you take a look at it, okay, Gordon did particularly well in some games. Who else? I mean, as you consider, as in he's moved to Arsenal, right? As in you have to give him kudos for what he did with England. But when you take a look at it in general, I think yes, there's that tier which is like the Madrid and Barcelona, and basically Barcelona came through the World Cup. There's Rodri also, but aside Madrid and Barcelona, I think yes. And could you say Bayern aside Olise and Kane? So I think after those top three clubs, then Premier League players actually came to the fore in this World Cup. You could see what Haaland did. You could also see what's his name. I mean, people say Craig Gordon didn't really do well, but I kind of like object to that because he was really, really important in what like England we were doing. And I even think in the semi-finals he was taking off. When he was taking off, Argentina came right into the game. So I mean, Premier League players did, unfortunately enough. Gordon is in Barcelona, so so you see where that tier is: Barcelona, Real Madrid, and Bayern, right? They just like kind of like give the players who kind of like deliver in these clutch moments. But generally, I think it was a good one. I wouldn't say it was excellent, but it was just a good one for Premier League players. There are some players in the World Cup that were on the fringe. I still say it till date. Ryan Cherky. I don't think Bruno's assist record is going to last for long, to be honest, because I think Ryan is going to break that record. I see Ryan probably, if he's in the Premier League for at least another 5 seasons, I think he might have 25 assists in a single season. I see him doing that. He's just that good. I mean, he came in today in less than how many minutes? 15 minutes, 2 assists, and he's been doing this. Like, even last season, he started just, I think, 12 games, and he got, 13 or 14 assists last season. I mean, Ranchek is something else. And if Maresca hopes to get the best out of, as in City, Ranchek, but he's the player that I really, really look forward to this season.
Awesome. So we have Henry on the channel. Welcome back, bro. How you doing? Hope you're feeling better now.
Yes, was down a couple of days, but man, it's been looking good again.
Great. All right, guys. So we are going to start as we usually do. This is our Game Week 1 preview show. And as our agenda, we'll start with the defending champions, the review of the Arsenal game. Then we look at our title rivals. Which right now I only have Man City as potential title rivals because I'm carrying over from last season. But as things develop, maybe we might have
no. They are definitely 4 title rivals this time around. It's got City, Chelsea, Liverpool, United. Then as the season starts, like everybody literally just I'm telling you, but it's definitely going to be City, United, Liverpool, and Chelsea. Those are the
interesting. Well, so far they are saying the best of the rest, but I feel with time, I'm gonna give it to like game week 5 to see how things
develop. The one thing I know, Chelsea will definitely be there. Chelsea will definitely be among
with the rest that we usually have every week. That's fair. Then of course my panelists will go through the surprise of the week. So God, this is the part where we talk about the game that surprised you the most. When we get to that point, I'll allow Ibuka and Henry speak first because they are quite experienced in this podcast. Then of course we'll go with our injury and suspension watch, just see who got affected in the game week 1 and how it affects their team. We look at the Premier League table where we see Ibuka and his guys potentially under there right now chilling, as you'd expect with Spurs. And look at our game week 2 predictions. So without further ado, Henry, let me start with you here. This is the time where I need you to really cook because these guys won the Premier League title for the first time in 22 years. All the haters were all out on them, and they had the opportunity to play the very first game of the new season. What is your take on the Arsenal game against Coventry on Friday night, and how much did you enjoy that game?
I think for all the right reasons, it was a perfect time, as defending champions to play on a Friday, opportunity to showcase your whatever brand of football you want to put out this season. Especially it was very important that you carry that over from the Community Shield game against Manchester City. And on the 9th, it was free-flowing football. They got the early goal, and then it just made everything easy. So Arsenal looked really easy on the eye for the first time in a very long while, apart from the Community Shield game, where they also look really comfortable. If you look back at the back end of last season, we sat here so many times. All of us, we criticize Arteta for the way he approaches the games, and it's been the last two games has been a really completely different ball game from what the preseason looked like. I personally also didn't look too much into the preseason because I think a lot of new players were coming in, from the academy, just testing the boys, especially also the players from the World Cup, giving them a feel again, but that Community Shield game, they really came, it was a different thing entirely. And, seeing that happen on the Coventry game in the league game was very, very positive to see. But again, like I always say about Mikel Arteta, I would love to see this kind of consistency for the entirety of the season. If you remember last season too, we also started well. And then it kind of tapered off, I think, from November-ish. We just kind of, drag ourselves down the line. I hope that doesn't happen this season. I hope that he has learned the lessons, from last season, and I hope that we're able to get in a couple of players, to bolster the squad in specific key areas before the end of the transfer window. But all in all, 3-0, comfortable. Was a good performance from Arsenal on the day.
Okay, awesome. So, God, I'll go with you on this one. Going into the Premier League title challenge last season, Arsenal were really, really playing with the handbrakes on. And it was a case of it looking like they just wanted to get over the line to win it. But in preseason, there were some questions that were asked because the performances were not that good. They lost to Real Betis, they lost to Borussia Dortmund. But when we got to the Community Shield, we saw a different Arsenal. So is it fair to say that the disparity between preseason football and the main league should not really be scoffed at, in your own opinion?
Yeah, I feel like, me too, I used to have that mindset that, oh, why would these people misbehave or play like this during preseason? What do they expect? What do we expect from them? But one thing I thought again was Arsenal had a very long season previously. Arsenal played a lot of games. And if you look at the
Yeah,
players, there's one thing about being a footballer, there's fatigue is real. So
true.
I believe that even if they don't put in so much, they are not fighting for anything. Like it's just preseason. The players, I feel like it's the players who didn't even have enough time to play last season. Maybe those were the players that they were like. I know that some key players played, but then players can. There's one thing about football when there's nothing to fight for, the zeal will not be there as
Intensity.
much.
Yeah,
The intensity will not be there as much. But then Arsenal really tried last season. So if they use preseason to just relax, and then Arsenal is always full of surprises. That's one thing again about them. So I'm not even expecting Arsenal to do less because they played a lot of games last season. We saw how they could be. We saw how they can be. We saw how Arsenal can be. So looking at the preseason game, even me, I started saying that what's wrong with Arsenal? Is it that they just want to go back to that and start struggling? But then seeing them play between Coventry, between Man City, almost it's now that they are playing their own preseason. So almost I would say we should not even use we should not even use preseason. And I feel like a lot of clubs. I don't know if Arsenal it was Arsenal's strategy, right? But then a lot of clubs will be like, Arsenal is already losing now. Arsenal will not. I feel Coventry even came to that match with the mindset of the preseason matches. So I feel like it's a very good strategy. If it was not intentional, then it's a very good one. A lot of people wouldn't expect them to be now. Maybe clubs who want to meet them will be like, we need to tighten our belt. Oh, this one is
step
not the
up.
Arsenal we
Yeah,
saw. Do you get? So I feel like we shouldn't use preseason to judge anymore. Like me personally, I'm not going to do that anymore. Trust me.
awesome,
So it's
awesome.
Chelsea I'm
So
waiting for to play.
awesome. So Ibuka, Arsenal had a couple of players that went all the way to the semi-finals of the World Cup. 8 players in total. One from France who got injured, Saliba. 4 from England, 3 from Spain. And when we got into game week 1, the expectation was that these guys would probably still have an extended holiday because they didn't even play any preseason game, or basically 1 or 2 preseason games. So what was your take on saying Bukayo Saka and Declan Rice start the game? And do you think their long-term health will be affected by not playing preseason going into this new campaign?
One thing I do know is I think the same kind of like fate that fell upon City and Chelsea last season, where they played the Club World Cup and then they came into the season with as in a number of injuries. Rodri being injured for City, quite a number of their players were injured, Phil Foden and the likes, right? Savino was also injured. So it definitely takes a toll. But the good thing Arsenal has done is, as in, they've got strength in that, right? Ødegaard comes in, Saka comes in, Declan Rice comes in. Not that much preseason games, but then they were just able to get it into their stride. But as it could, as is, yeah, truth be told, I mean, it's Coventry, right? It's Coventry
Yeah.
at Emirates, and yeah, I mean, these are the defending champions. It was more of like, okay, you know what? I mean, let's just continue where we left off last season. But Declan Rice is a monster when it comes to fitness. So I don't see him like anything happening to him long term. The person to keep an eye out is Saka. I mean, he's got his injury, nego those injury records, and now he did play in, as in, he like no rest. Literally, he didn't have a rest this summer. So it's all about how his minutes are going to be managed, right? The good thing now is, yes, as in, even if they have, as in, Nonimadeke replaces Saka, I mean, Arsenal just got Zolis or Cholis. I think that's how they pronounce it, Cholis, Christian Cholis. So I mean, Cholis, oh boy,
That boy is
there's
a
not
good
much for
man.
Cholis. He's
That
intense.
guy, I don't know where you guys found that guy. That sorry for
He's
interrupting.
Yeah,
See,
that's
I've always said something, right? As in, and going back to last season, I always said Arsenal never, like, if you put Eze on the flank, I don't see Eze doing anything. You put Martinelli, I don't see Martinelli doing anything. Sometimes they put Monon Emadeke. See, Charlie's literally owes that left wing position. Like
my goodness.
like he's sewn it into the fabric of his skin. I don't
Honestly,
think I mean, he's just so good. So even if Saka is not there, as long as you have Charlie's and then you have Madueke,
That man.
yeah, it's definitely there. Then as I say, who else? I've always said it. Killer Kai. That's what I call him, Killer Kai. I mean, him being he's yeah, I don't know, man. If he's fit this season,
Yeah.
bro, it's gonna be a long season because I mean, I think this is the first time in his career, as in the Premier League, not as when he was at Leverkusen, but the first time he scored in four straight starts, four consecutive starts. He's
Yeah.
a man going on fire. Champions League. I mean, he's just on fire. And I
Yeah.
mean, the longer he tends to like play in that position, in that center forward position, the better he's gonna become.
Yeah. So Henry, I'm gonna segue into that part. Saka, Ødegaard, Kai Havertz, the three scorers on the night were players that have struggled badly with injuries over the last maybe 18 to 24 months. So how good is it to see them in this kind of form? And do you think they can maintain it if they stay fit?
I think I've been most impressed with Ødegaard. He's looked something like the Ødegaard we knew of 3 seasons ago, 2 seasons ago. Um, Saka has, I mean, he's done okay, but like it's not really lit up the way he did also a couple of years ago. Havertz, I personally, I'm not a big fan of Havertz. I've not,
Yeah, we know,
I've
we
not,
know.
I'm
me
not
too.
using that anyway.
Me too.
And I don't think that he should be the man to lead Arsenal this season. Like, if we're a serious club, we
Then
need
who do
to
you think
get
we should? Who do you think should lead? Yokeres?
they need to get a striker.
He's a good
Uh,
courage. How
You
you
don't
do
know.
to
You
my
don't know what
good
you have in
courage?
Havertz. That's why you don't know what you have in Havertz.
Yeah, yeah.
Havertz will give you a very inconsistent
No, you see, it's
season.
injuries.
He's like that.
I disagree.
I've watched him for a long time. He's born that way. He will give you a couple of good games, right, and then he will ghost for a long while. That's how he is.
If you go back to his best seasons, right? As in especially seasons where he plays at least a very good number of matches. He comes up with the goods. That's the thing. The only thing is just his injury record. If
Yeah.
I can guarantee you, if you have a fit Kai Havertz for 38 Premier League games, he will definitely give you minimum 20 goals. Minimum.
I,
I'm
I,
telling you.
I,
Okay.
I beg,
Yeah,
I
that's
beg
fair.
to, I beg to disagree on that though.
Okay. No,
Um,
that's
Okay,
fine.
no,
I get.
no, that's fine. That's fine. So let's segue out of this slide, but I'll just take one more from you, God. Coventry City, they are managed by a player that you have, affiliation to as a Chelsea fan, in Frank Lampard. We saw what he did in the championship last season, 97 points, and of course they did very well. Do you think they have what it takes to stay in the Premier League with the amount of signings they've made, or do you think they're going to drop down like the rest of the teams that came before them?
Honestly, I didn't, when towards the end of the championship season, right?
Mm-hmm.
Coventry was doing really good. But I noticed something about their consistency when it comes to winning. If you notice towards the end of the season, they always come from behind. Now, one thing they
Yeah.
should understand is this is not the championship. And if you look at it, clubs like Tottenham almost fell off last season. So things like I'm not I can't judge from their first game though. And I'm not even a big fan of Lampard's coaching style, trust me. But then I cannot say because of my own personal view than the players. And looking at the players too, I'm not seeing players who are in their like I believe their striker was really good. There were two players that stood out on during that match. But then if you look at it, they are to me they are looking like wolves. Like they're looking like wolves of last season. So I don't know. It's likely. I don't know if they can stay, but even if they stay, they will be like they'll be at the bottom of the table to me,
Yeah.
even if they manage to survive it. But then I don't know, but I can't judge from their first game in the Premier League though, but they should know this is not the championship anyways. But then
Yeah,
I'm
but
not
then again, at
sure.
least their next game is against Hull City, which is like a championship
Okay,
feel.
it's a,
So
okay.
if they don't win that one, then we know that they're not ready to, stay in this division.
But I see the kind of
All right, guys. So
performance that Horse City put in. Okay.
yeah, we'll get there, and of course, we'll cook Ebuka very well. Okay, so now Ebuka, let's talk about your noisy neighbors, Man City. The game against Bournemouth was quite interesting. I expected some revenge to be in the air because Bournemouth were the team that actually made Arsenal win the Premier League title last season when they drew Man City. But Bournemouth were actually the guys that started the game better, even had the goal from Tavernier before, Czechie came on as a sub and, changed the game. But one thing that comes to mind was that Erling Haaland, he looked way off it. His new hairstyle, I don't even understand what's going on there.
Samson.
And, and my question is, why did it take him that long to resume? Being the men at Norway were eliminated like in the quarterfinals. And do you think that's playing a role in his performance? Because against Arsenal, he looked off it. And even in this game, despite playing 90 minutes, he was not off the pace. And of course, Mamouche is about to leave for Spurs. So if Alan is in this kind of form, where do you think Maresca and his guys are going to be as the campaign progresses?
I think it's the change. See, it's gonna be a very, very difficult season for City because many of these players still have that affiliation with Pep. And
Yeah,
you need to also understand that as a for Maresca, he was a City before, but you could see even when Haaland cut his hair, right, he gave Pep a call, like he was FaceTiming Pep to show Pep his new hairstyle. And if you're coming to replace someone like Pep, right, and if you probably are doing some things way different from what Pep was doing, like they'll be looking at you like, okay, what's this guy trying to do over here? Do you understand? Like, what's he trying to as an implement? So for City to buy into Maresca's what's it called? Maresca's tactical set
philosophy.
and his philosophy, see, oh my god, Maresca has the shoes Maresca has to feel like, I don't know, as it is huge. The only thing like I would say that would give City an edge this season is Ryan Cherky. There is not even Haaland. It's because the way Maresca plays, right, out of possession, he kind of like starts with a 4-1-4-1 formation or a 4-2-3-one.
Yeah,
But then one of the midfielders, right, one of the pivots, as in they kind of like go forward, then one of the fullback inverts into midfield, and then you have him playing a 3-2-4-1 formation, right? And that 3-2-4-1 formation, his wingers hog the lines a lot. He doesn't like them like coming in, you understand? As in coming into the box. He really doesn't. He's
Yeah.
not a fan of that. He prefers that midfield, that second midfield pivot, as in crashing into the box, as you could see with Enzo Fernandez. And that was why Enzo Fernandez scored lots of goals. Because yes, he was in the pivot, but he was arriving at the box late.
Late,
As in,
like Ramsey.
exactly. So literally, but right now, tailoring that formation to or tailoring City to that his style of football. I don't know if they're really gonna buy it because I mean, yeah, we see what happened against Arsenal in the Community Shield. They were bad, and in the first 70 minutes of this game, they weren't that good. And lastly, I mean, I just love what's happening to Elliot Anderson, and I hope he gets the worst of his career in City and he becomes a Calvin Phillips 2.0.
Okay, good.
I
So
don't even know
let me
why
share.
how they even got to sign that guy, man.
Yeah, 116 mil. That was just madness.
Waste
So
of
Like,
yeah, so I'm just thinking, it's a God. Bournemouth lost Anthony Raola to Liverpool, and they got him Marco Rosa. And of course, if you look at the team, the only big loss was Senesi, who left, and Antonio Silva replaced him. Looking at this first game against City, do you think they still maintain the same style that Iraola did? Or do you think Marco Rose's style now will be totally different? Because right now, Iraola plays so well that they finish in the Europa League. Now, do they have the depth to play that Thursday, Sunday football? Or do you think that they will struggle like how Newcastle usually struggle when they go to Europe?
well, I'm not going to compare um Bournemouth and Newcastle style. Well, the thing is, I'm still yet to understand the switch in the play, but to me, I feel like they are still like competitive. Bournemouth is still like competitive because they actually exposed a lot of loopholes today that Enzo Maresca needs to fix in Man City. Man
Yeah.
City is not a small club. So, and maybe, football, maybe at the end of, maybe when the game's coming to an end, some tired legs, some people will switch off, not like how they started the game, yeah, but I feel like the style is maybe if you say this, I won't say the style changed. I would just say maybe he tweaked it a little bit. But then I feel like they are still playing competitive football to me. And I feel like they are still on top of their game. Maybe after this, they would learn not to switch off. Because if you compare this to Chelsea last season, you will notice some games that Chelsea will be doing very well. And the next thing you will see, after the first two goals or the first goal, they will score so many goals. They will like concede so many goals. So I
Yeah.
feel like I feel like to me, I'm still giving the excuse of it's still the beginning of the season and then it's still a new switch. So maybe they will still keep it. But to me, I still see them playing competitive football and I still see them doing very well. And I'm happy how they exposed Enzo Maresca's what he's doing, that he feels like he's a world class coach or world class manager. So, but then I'm still here to see. And the Anderson thing, to me, I'm still happy that they should see that he's a flop because I didn't see what he played in the World Cup. I
In
was
Nottingham
even
Forest and the World Cup,
prefer.
yeah?
I don't see what makes him special. Like I don't see why Man City
Yeah.
will go. That's
I think for me, right, when you talk about Elliot Anderson, I mean Forest was a team that basically had less than 50% possession every single game. So they were most times on the back foot, right? As in out of possession. Their game was made a lot tailored to out of possession football because they are not dominating possession. And he was doing
Yeah.
all those runs, recoveries, tackles,
Defcons,
clearances, blocks.
recoveries, yeah.
Exactly. And now you are coming to a possession-based side. He is not
yeah,
a possession-based player. Now they bought Buadi. Yes, I see them like as in holding more possession with Buadi in midfield. So Buadi Anderson, I mean, I think he's gonna be so good. That's to be honest, but because
Yeah, because
Buadi
they
is
can,
a
they can, they can
player,
now complement each other well.
exactly. Buadi is like, my goodness, he's literally Rodri light. I watched him at the World Cup against Brazil. He dominated Casemiro and Bruno, Casemiro, Fabinho, and Bruno Guimaraes out of the park, right? So I think yes, Buadi is that player. as in, and I mean, how much did they get him? I think it's £100 million. I mean, it's already been
Yeah.
done. But Elliot Anderson, nah. But the question now is who's going to go forward? I think what Maresca wants to do now, in terms of Elliot Anderson and Boadi in the pivot, Boadi playing deeper, Elliot Anderson doing to box, I think, and from the way I'm looking at it, it might suit Elliot Anderson more.
Yeah, true. So Henry, there's been a massive upheaval at the club. John Stones left, Bernardo Silva left, Rodri left, Nathan Ake left. Of course, the great man Pep himself left. And right now, they're about to lose both Savinho and Omar Mamouche. How much of a blow is it going to be to their depth? Bear in mind that they are still going to compete on all four fronts as they are expected to as a club. And do you think the people that are going to replace them with will come enough to bed in before the transfer window ends?
I think probably if there was to be any better time for all these players that have left, I think it's now. Because you get a new manager, and this is my own opinion though. So I think you get a new manager with fresh ideas coming in, and you can see that the way City played today, it wasn't anything that looked like how Pep Guardiola set up his sides
Yeah, for
last
sure.
season and in the past. So I think with a new manager with fresh ideas, it's just about how quick these players can absorb his ideas in, because they've been used to playing the Pep way for a couple of years. So if the players that Pep were used as his mainstay are living with him, I think it's better for the new manager and the team itself, because then he's getting his new players in and he can easily transmit his ideas across. So for me, I think it's just a matter of how fast the players can absorb his ideas. And I think the biggest question still remains, are his ideas probably the best for City going forward? From what I saw today from City and from what I saw on the Community Shield, it doesn't look very good, because I think it was just like square pegs in round holes. I don't see a reason why you play Gay in midfield when you had Kovacic.
Yeah.
And as soon as Kovacic came in,
even Foden was in the right wing.
Yeah, as soon as Kovacic came in, you could see already the difference. He was very mobile. He could move the ball. He could pin the ball around, and it was a massive difference to what the first half or the first 60 minutes looked like today. And then playing O'Reilly in some more of an attacking, advanced position, it was really just strange for me today. I feel like
the lineup looked very weird actually.
He set up the team to not win or to lose today for some reason. I don't know how. I know that he will go back today and look at this game and be like, I got it wrong, but I got away with one. And if he's a smart manager, which from what I saw at when he was at Chelsea, he was very reactive. If he's a smart manager, I think he will never repeat this mistake. If he keeps on playing the same system at City, he will fail big time. I think he will be out of job maybe in January or February, because I don't think City will be that patient if they're not doing very well. So again, like I said, I think it's the perfect time for these changes to happen with a new manager coming in, and we see how things play in the next couple of weeks or months.
Okay, awesome. So let's go to the best of the rest. And I think I will start with the game we all wanted. Mahatma Gandhi told us that the lunchtime fixture, you should never back it up. And when we saw Hull City, honestly, this was a team that had the second worst XGC in the championship. One for
I swear.
Considered. So going into this game, I thought that this was a game that Man United were going to smoke them. But Ebuka, please talk me through this as a Man United fan. What the hell did you just see? What are your thoughts around it?
I think it's probably the worst performance I've seen. Like going back as in definitely top 10 worst performances in Manchester as in post Sir Alex Ferguson era. Top 10.
Yeah.
Because this is a Hull City. XGC, second worst. They considered, I think, 60-something goals last season in the championship.
Yeah, 66 goals in the championship.
66 goals conceded in the championship.
Yes, sir. Yep.
This was a team that, in terms of expected goals, XG, they were, I think,
1.74.
Yeah, that 15 best. They were mid-table.
Yeah, mid-table for XG, yes. And second worst in XGC, yes.
Exactly. And then Coventry, the gap between Coventry and Hull City was about 25 points. So Hull City were the 6.
Yeah, they,
As in,
yeah, they were the sixth for the playoffs now. Yeah, they were the worst team in the playoffs, pretty much. I don't know the loss they had.
As in, they were the worst team in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And then they came into that game, 2 set pieces. See,
2 goals.
I don't even know what to say, to be honest. Like, the only thing I just told someone was, if Carrick is unable to defeat Ipswich comprehensively, he should be fired.
Wow. I'm
telling you, if he is unable to defeat Ipswich, he should be fired. Because one, this is a manager who has issues playing against the back three. It is clear. I can tell you for the fact. Crystal Palace last season, back three. The only reason why I won that game was because Crystal Palace got a red card. Leeds United.
Even Amorim during the preseason too.
Exactly. Leeds United last season, back three, where they defeated us at Old Trafford. Amorim, back three. Now, but it is simple. Carrick doesn't know how to play against teams that deploy back three. And then the craziest thing I saw this season, because last season I saw Michael Carrick, and then when United were out of possession, right? I saw United as in playing a 4-4-2 mid block. You understand? Keeping the space between the lines compact so that the midfielders do not have wide spaces to cover whenever we lose the ball. The next thing this season, I'm seeing Carrick going to a 4-2-4 out of possession. Like, why? How? Why should you give much space in the middle to cover? This simply wasn't what you were doing last season.
Yeah.
And this season, you decided to do a 4-2-4, as in out of possession shape, saying they should press. And you have Tielemans, who is the worst player. I can tell you for a fact, in possession, right? In possession, Tielemans is good. The best midfielder. I can tell you he's among the top, at least 95th percentile, top 5% when it comes to midfielders. When, as in,
box row, yeah.
But when you see out of possession, when as in a out of possession team, Tielemans is among the worst midfielders in the world for a team that plays out of possession. And that's the reason why everywhere Tielemans plays, he always has a box-to-box enforcer, a box-to-box defensive enforcer.
Yeah, like Onana around him, yeah. He
had Onana and Kamara at Aston Villa. And now you are starting Tielemans and giving Andre Santos. Like, Carrick.
Honestly, I didn't see any sense in that.
Team selection was stupid. This was the same thing that messed up against AC Milan. Before that AC Milan game, you had Mbeumo up front, playing as the number 9. We were scoring goals. We were very good against PSG, against Leeds, as in Atletico, Rosenborg. We were very good with Mbeumo in centre forward. The next thing, you started the game yesterday. Cunha's game relies on carrying the ball from deep. So you have to play him as a winger or a 10. Cunha at centre forward, you are literally playing a man short. Because his ability to drive the ball, to take the ball and drive through is critical for United. And then you play him at centre. Like, if Carrick starts the next game with Cunha at centre forward, he should be fired. Even before they play the game, he should be fired. I'm telling you the truth.
Yeah, because so much stress.
The team selection was the worst I've seen. And I hope he learns, and he has learned fast. Another thing I hope United gets a left back, because look, sure, the less said the better.
Yeah, true. Okay, so God, let's talk about Andre Santos. You're a Chelsea fan. You, of course, there was a time when he was at Strasbourg and played under in the PE teacher Liam was it Liam Rossinier? No. What was that guy's first name? Was Liam Rossinier now, right?
Liam Rossinier on Strasbourg played under
So and in Strasbourg there was so much talk around how he was so good, Then Rossinier gets the job after Maresca was sent out. And he brings in this guy, and apparently he didn't even play as considered as we expected. Now he makes this move to Man United after they've lost Casemiro, who is flexing in the MLS. Do you think that someone like Baleba coming now is going to take his place out of the team? Or do you think that Santos is good enough to nail down a certain spot as the holding midfielder for Man United? And judging from his game against Hull, where do you think his future lies? You're muted, though. Fred, you're muted.
I don't think we should judge at the start of a bad signing just yet. But
Okay.
trust me, he didn't give Man City what Manchester United what they needed in that. If you notice when he was even playing at Chelsea, let's leave Strasbourg. I tell people that sometimes some clubs you can perform well in certain clubs. Look at Delap for example. When Delap was playing for is he
Ipswich Town.
Ipswich, right? Ipswich Town. He was so good that everybody were thinking. I've not seen what he has played for Chelsea. So even a player coming from Strasbourg, anybody can perform in maybe a league that is not like widely. There's this pressure around playing for a Premier League side. Let's even forget about the press and all that, the pressure they will put on you, especially when you're not even an English boy. So, but
Mm.
then if you look at him at Chelsea, I don't think any coach, I don't think he started any match. Maybe he started some matches, right? But then I don't think he started so many matches or even
Yeah.
ended so many matches because that guy to me like a support system. He's like a helpmeet. He's not
Yes.
supposed
Yeah.
to be.
Squad player per se.
Yes, he's not supposed to be a key. How would you put Silamans? Silamans that doesn't track back. You know that when Mayu signed that guy first in the beginning, in my head, I'm like, you went to bring one old
That
midfielder
has
that, yes.
miles. Like you went to buy a car that has 300,000 kilometers. I'm
And
telling
then
you,
But
you went to
Tielemans is not
support
is
him.
not is not that old. He's 29.
bro.
Yes,
Do you know
but
the mileage
Yeah,
of his
but
currently,
legs?
but 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 but, but
Do you
he's
know the
tenured
mileage of
though.
his legs,
But he's very tenured.
but
bro?
It's
for
just
a
his
player who
style,
is
though.
27 is old right now. A player who is 27 in this generation now is old. Let's be honest. But now, if you look at it, Tillemans is better up front, right? He plays in the same position like Enzo, what's his name? Bruno Fernandes would play in, right? To me, I feel he functions better there. That is why Chelsea didn't play
No,
with
no, I don't think. No, I
Capedo.
don't think so. To be honest, I don't think. See, Tielemans is not better in that Bruno Fernandes position. Tielemans is actually better in a pivot. Because if you look at Villa, right? Villa plays
He was always
Tielemans
behind
and
Rogers
Onana,
actually.
Tielemans and Kamara. Then they play Magin,
Or
Buendia,
Rogers.
Rogers, and
Okay,
Watkins.
true.
So he always plays in the pivot. But the thing is, who is his pivot
Pairing.
partner?
Yes.
That
Who
is
are they
the
Yeah.
pairing
that
him
is
with?
the that is
True.
the major. See, Tielemans and Baliba, forget it. See, if you
Yeah,
have Tielemans and
yeah.
Baliba, forget it. We are going to play very well.
Yeah,
So, but at the
is
same time,
Baliba the
you know,
same Baliba that you would have wanted to get a couple of years ago? I don't think it's the same Baliba you're getting, bro.
see. At this point in time, I don't just know what to say. To be
The
honest
same
with you,
Baliba that you wanted to
for
buy for 100
for
mil
me,
that year. I don't think that
United's
is washed
best
up
midfield
now.
pairing, United best midfield pairing as it is today is Santos and Kobe Mainoo. That is it.
Yeah, and I
When
was about
Baliba
to
comes
ask
in,
him.
I'll see what he does.
Yeah, I was about to ask Henry
My
about Kobe Mino. Mino kind of revitalized his career, right? Towards when Carey came around and even got a World Cup slot. But I also get your opinion on that. But let's hear Henry out first. So, what is your thoughts seeing him on the bench? Or do you think now that Tillemans has come, he's going to fight with him for that box to box slot? Because Mino is someone that is a streaky player. He needs a run of games to get into that stride, and of course, he starts cooking. So now that he has basically lost his place to Tillemans, do you think it's going to affect his confidence going forward?
Um, I think he's you've said it. He needs a run of games. He's that type of player that needs the confidence of the manager. He performs better when he feels like he has the trust of the manager. And the thing with Kobe Mino is that since he's an academy player, I don't think Carrick sees him as the long-term, mainstay of United's midfield. Like they always feel like there's something better outside, which to be fair, like the way United is right now, they're looking for solutions all around.
No,
Like
I
the midfield
disagree. I
has
think I
been,
think he's going to be a captain one day. He's the long term. It's
yeah, but
about it's more of Kobe Mainoo
the
and
the problem is when you look outside, right, you feel like there are better options,
there's no better option.
especially the way United has performed in the last couple of years. Like you feel like there's probably going to be something better outside. If you have an academy player, look at the way Arsenal view Miles Lewis Kelly, for example. He's a very good player. He can play in almost anything, but just from the based on the fact that he's an academy player,
Exactly.
you
True. I
always
get your point.
feel like
There's
I
something better.
can get
Yeah,
a
that
Bruno
so
Guimaraes, that
something. Yeah.
You know, there's always that
You know,
feeling, and I think that's the problem with Kobe Minor and
Minor.
United right now. He's Chilemans is not a better player than him, to be
Exactly.
honest with
Tilamas is
you.
not a
Definitely.
But
honestly, Tilamas is not a better
he's
player
not a
than
better
Kobe.
player. But you just hearing, oh, United signed Chilemans, you know, it kind of feels like probably it gives the midfield a better look, you know. But in reality, yes, it's not any better, right? So
Fair enough. Fair
I
enough.
think that signing probably is good because it
For
gives
depth, yeah.
United some depth, right?
Yeah,
They
because
will
they are
regain,
competing in the Champions League and they're not going to win their
yes,
one week football anymore. That's for
yes,
God
But
and
to me,
his team
and
now.
I
that's
feel
why it's
like it
good that
okay.
they have, but they're signing also Baleba in. You know, it gives them. I hope that he's going to look like the player that he was 2 seasons ago, right? If it's the one from last season, and you guys are in for a long thing, you guys are
Yeah,
in
so
for a long
God.
thing because he lost his
So me,
place
I
even
just
last season for Brighton. So
yeah because
Okay,
I
so go
so
ahead,
that
bro.
70 million is going to be it might be looking like
just
it might be
no,
looking like we
Baleba is
got
actually
scammed.
Baleba is actually going to. I feel like he's going to do well because I feel like if
I
I'm
know it's going to
playing
do well.
maybe a team like Hull City and that defense, those guys were playing like five man defense.
I
Six.
think, like
Rashford
said
was
it.
six.
I said it
Yeah.
already
Six.
before that United under Carrick, they're more of a transition team, like counter attack.
We can't
If you
break low
play,
Yeah,
blocks. We
if you
cannot
pl-
break low blocks. It's
yeah,
a
if you
problem.
play
Yeah.
against a team that sits low block, they will have
Yeah,
big
they'll
problems.
struggle.
And I think that this will be the case this season with Manchester United because now everyone has seen them from last season. Most of the teams they will face this year will sit low block against them.
Yeah, of course,
yeah.
because
Ex-
they have the respect of being back in Champions League places, you know. And we have
Yeah,
a comment
and
from the Coco saying that it's just one game, we should not stress about them. But I think it's still worth stressing, you know.
to
They're
be
not
fair,
called.
Absolutely.
Yeah, then
to be
sorry, just 1 second, Henry. I want you to respond to this. He said, we just missed Amad Diallo yesterday. He's good when we play things where in middle low blocks. But we should as a 9. So yeah, do you want to talk about Ahmad? Because obviously he's always been seen as a squad player. And even that time when he had a consistent run of games, he was scoring a couple of goals. So do you think he's someone that will be influential to Man U this season? Or do you think he'll always
yes,
be a squad player at best?
he's like, I think that comment was very right. I watched the game yesterday and I was like, I feel like this game is screaming for something individual. You know, that's Ahmad can give you that. He's very
Yeah,
tricky. You know, he can move with the ball. He's very good. You know, in tight spaces, right? And that's something Mbemo is not really good at. Mbemo is good. His movement is very good. His finishing is good,
Off the ball,
right?
yeah.
But on the wing, it's a bit stiff, right? Compared to someone like Amad Diallo, who is very agile and mobile. You know, he can take out one or
quick
two
feet.
players, you know, and
Yeah,
create a bit of havoc. And that's something that United should exploit this season, especially when they go
yeah,
face against this low blocks team. So I think having Amad this season will be very, very fit, and if he's fit and he's firing, it will be very vital to any hopes of United this season.
Yeah,
yeah.
so Ibuka, speaking of wings, they brought in Marcus Rashford as a halftime sub. He had created the most chances when he came on with 4 chances, and he didn't just look like someone that wanted to be there, you know. So, do you think his future still lies outside Man United, or do you think that him and Carrick can patch things up to the level where he can becomes committed to the cause again? Now that he's wearing the number 9 jersey.
I think he did very well when he came on. Like he did very, very well. He, like you said, he created the most chances. He was running at Hull City's that the coil guy, their captain,
Yeah, that got
continually
injured
run
himself.
and yeah,
Yeah,
I'm telling you, like he ran at him until the guy got injured. And Luke Shaw kind of like understood him. There was that telepathy between
yeah.
him and Luke Shaw. Like it was so good. The question now is, will he start the next game? See, to be honest, right? I think Cunha should start on the wing. Rashford should, yeah. I mean, as in when, but Cunha should start games. And in the next, see, my lineup for Ipswich. To be honest with you, okay, Luke Shaw, Martinez, Maguire, Diogo Dallo,
Yeah, so
Maino.
I know Martinez was on the bench. Is he fit enough now?
Yeah,
You
he's
know,
fit.
he
He's
had that
fit.
injury in the World Cup.
Yeah, he is fit. He is fit. So that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So Diogo Dallo has to start. Like United has not lost the last 16 games in which Diogo Dallo started. Dallo,
How would they even
Andre
start Shaw?
Santos,
It
Kobe
didn't make
Mainoo.
sense to me.
You said?
I say for them starting Shaw didn't make sense to me.
No, I mean there's no
Yeah,
other better back than
they,
Shaw.
they don't have any option
We don't
actually on
have
the
left
left.
back. We don't have any left back, and that's the reason why I said
How
when I
do you
started,
go?
uh-huh.
Why didn't you
This
guys
like
get
the
Lewis Hall that you were planning to get?
Yeah, I
Lewis
mean
Hall would have
you
been
have
a
to
better
go back to
option.
the fucking Glazers, right? The
this is
fucking
the
Glazers who don't
20th
spend money.
season where United is struggling with the left back issue.
I'm telling you,
I
you
don't
can imagine
understand
how
how you
many
cannot
left backs we
address the
struggle
problem.
with. It's
That's
stupid.
the thing.
But then, I mean, yeah, midfield was the priority this season. And I mean, last season was attack, this season midfield, next season definitely will be as in center defense and a striker. That as in not central defense, but defense and a striker. That's what we'll be looking at. Like
Yeah,
that's the evolution, that's the plan. But then, like I said, starting next game, Shaw, Martinez, Maguire, Dalu, Kobe Mainoo, and De Santos on the left, Mbumo, Cunha, Bruno, and Shesko. Anything less than this, if we draw Ipswich, Carrick should be fired. Simple.
Ah,
There's no two talks about it.
as home.
As so
okay.
what?
So let's end the United talk there and move to the next one. And Henry, I'll start with you on this one. And this was the game between Crystal Palace and Everton. You know, Crystal Palace, unfortunately, they heard that Ismail Assar is about to join Galatasaray, so he was left out of the team. And this is a team that has also had its struggles. You know, Guehi also left. Mateta had been on and off. But of course, they also lost their manager Oliver Glasner after he won the Conference League. Now that they have Pierre Richard in the team, Shandoli Minguesa and Tomiyasu, do you think that you have what it takes to compete this season, or do you think Crystal Palace should actually be on the low with him in charge?
I think that's a very difficult. It's a very big shoe to fill. Because looking at what the manager last year achieved, winning
Conference.
the Conference League. I think the Conference League and the FA Cup I think they're the only two major trophies that have been won in the history of Crystal Palace.
Yeah,
So coming in, it's going to be difficult to fill that shoe. So I think Pierre Lesage will do a very, very, very decent job if he can even keep Crystal Palace mid-table this season. And I don't think they've really done well in the transfer market. My personal opinion, though, I don't think they've done well in the transfer market. I saw they got into Miyasu.
yeah, he came on as a
And
sub for Chadley.
yeah, I mean, it's very difficult to gauge right now. But funnily, this game against Everton, they did actually well. I think they controlled the game a bit more than Everton, but at the end of the day, just playing at home kind of proved decisive for Everton at the end of the day. But I mean, they still look very competitive, Crystal Palace. But I don't think that they would. I think maybe they finished like in the
Mid-table,
lower third of the league.
Premier League table.
I think maybe 14, 15 ish.
Oh, okay, fair enough. So, God, if you remember, when they played in the conference
Yeah,
last year, Crystal Palace really
yeah.
struggled for depth, right? And now they're now in the Europa League, which is even a more competitive competition than the Conference League. Obviously,
The
when you win the
Conference League,
conference,
yeah,
you have to go to Europa. Now that they have
yeah.
signed just Minguesa and Tomiyasu, do you think that they will have the same struggle that they did last season?
Well, to me, I feel like they've not really transitioned from like being better. Ismail Assar is a very key player for
Yeah, for
Crystal
them.
Palace. If you notice,
Yeah,
most of their wins is either he scores or he creates chances. So
yeah,
it showed that his influence not being in this last game. We know that Everton has been building one kind of reputation from last season, from towards the end of last season, coming into this season, and I'm going to praise them for being compact. Like they are always like they are not pressured. That's one thing I like
yeah,
about Everton. They always wait for their opportunity. But you see, Crystal Palace now, I feel like they're going to struggle to compete because if you have a team that has a significant player and then the player wants to leave, it's going to be strange because for you to bring in people, I don't know, Tomiyasu. I don't know if Tomiyasu and maybe the other guy is going to be but I won't use yesterday's game to judge, like I said. But then if you look at it critically, they will struggle to like meet up. Trust me, if you
Yeah.
don't see them, maybe I don't see them competing, and I see them like very far on the table this season. Trust me, except maybe there's one magic that happens or they find their feet because it's going to be very competitive this season.
For me, quick
Awesome.
one
So,
on Crystal
okay.
Palace. Yeah, quick one
Yeah,
on
go
Crystal
ahead.
Palace. I think prime candidates for relegation. Why do I say? Why
Mm.
do I say so? No, I'm telling you. No, to be honest with
No.
you, like don't be shocked. Don't be shocked if Palace gets relegated. Now, why do I say so?
Honestly,
Because one thing is they had a very long season last year. They played I think 50 something games, as in
Mm.
going into their conference league final.
Yeah.
Now they lost their manager. Many of their key players are not available. And if you remember last season, right, they got most of their points in the first half of the season. As it was going to the second half, they
They
completely derailed.
dipped.
Eh,
Yeah.
eh,
Yeah.
And now they have a new manager in Pierre Sarge. Ismail Assar, who basically was this one scoring the 1-1 nils, is leaving for Galatasaray. If he leaves, I don't know where those goals will come from.
Yeah.
In their last three games now,
And I'm very sure that they will not even replace him well. That's another
They
problem
will
too.
panic. They will
exactly.
panic buy.
Exactly. They'll panic buy. And then you have in their last three games now, including the club friendlies, Bromley, they lost 3-0. Freiburg, I think they lost was
Freiburg,
it 4 5
3 new. 3 new
3-0.
too.
Now Everton 3-0. They are not scoring, they're conceding goals in buckets, which is at
Yeah.
least the starter recipe for relegation battles.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
they don't
It's
get
kind of
and then,
reminding me of Nottingham Forest under Postecoglou.
exactly. So if they don't get their act right, they're not scoring, they're conceding, and
feeding,
then you
yeah.
have Europa League on the horizon. I don't know. I
So,
see, and then mileage of as in the long season they had last year. It's that
Yeah.
for me, prime candidates for relegation.
and I think
Okay,
there's also
so
an issue with Mateta currently. I
well,
think it's
they see have Strand Lassen. So even if Mateta
No, what's
leaves,
Strand
they
Larsen?
can.
Please, don't even go there.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. The same thing he did with Wolves, he will definitely repeat that at Palace.
Crazy man. So
Honestly.
because let's just stay with you on Everton. You know, they lost Idris Gueye, replaced him with Norgard. Jack Grealish had a very successful loan spell, but had to return to Man City. And now they've gotten Tyreek George from Chelsea to be on that left flank, while Ndiaye is on the right. Do you think that they are sleeping on Tyler Dibling on that right? Because Ndiaye kind of tends to play better on the left flank. But Dibling is never seen any game time.
I
They
mean,
also had the swap they did with Crystal Palace, where they gave them Brennan Johnson and got
no, they gave
sorry,
McNeil and they got Johnson.
they gave them McNeil and got Brennan Johnson. So would that be a what swap do like Mkhitaryan and Sanchez?
I don't think so. I think yeah, Bernard Johnson is going to do well in Everton because I think David Moyes just knows how to get as in the best from players. For Tyler Diblin, he might just be one of those as a Charlie's type kind of like player. You know, Charlie was at Norwich, and then the next thing, as in he went out, as in got playing time, and then came back. So that might be what Tyler Diblin is. But right now, he's definitely not in the picture because you also have, like you said, Johnson, you have Tyreek George, you have Martin Rowe, who also can play as in on the flanks,
Right back
like
on the
Iliman
flanks, yeah.
Ndiaye. You understand? So I don't see any way into this team for him. I mean, for Tyler Diblin, yeah, I think the best thing for him at this point is go out on a loan, right? But there's this new guy who was very very good yesterday. Armstrong
Oh
was
yeah,
really really
a
good. Yeah,
youngster.
the youngster, he was really really good, and I think, I mean, he literally like he has this presence, midfield presence, like as in Ganagay
Yeah.
and
But
lots.
yeah, but he
And
needs
I have
big chance though. But I think once Nogard is fit, I think we're ahead of Armstrong for sure.
at this point, I'm not sure. Nogan needs games, but Armstrong was good. He was good, and it will be very difficult to displace him from that Everton team.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, so
I
go.
think
Let's move
that
to the next game. David,
okay.
comment.
Yeah, just about
Harry.
the Armstrong guy.
Okay,
About
go
the
ahead, bro.
Armstrong guy, I'm really like I one thing I praised him for was his, he was comfortable playing against an experienced Premier League side. Like
Yeah.
I didn't even see that kind of confidence in Santos to have played like for a Premier League side. So me, I'm not trying to shade anybody. I'm just being honest. If a youngster can come there, let's leave the assist to let's leave his assist. But look at his personality. At least he still showed that he still has more to offer.
Yeah,
You're not gonna bring one. I'm not in support to that. Is yes, Santos was a Chelsea player, but then even at Chelsea, I didn't even subscribe to. It's because we had Casedo and the likes, and so we
and
didn't really
Lavia and
care
Co.
if we, and Lavia and Co. So we didn't care if we.
Yeah, plus of course, you guys you do your money laundering, prayer trading now, so we understand. All right, so God, let's stick with you on the next one, and that was Ipswich Sunderland. This was one that we did not see coming. Sunderland was one team that started the season
Shocked
very well,
everybody.
last well, and shocked
I'm
everyone. Then
telling
at
you.
some point, they started fading away, just like Crystal Palace. But this was a game against Ipswich where the Ipswich Town team scored first on Emerson. Then Angulo had that sweet free kick that he
Yeah.
smashed him before Clark scored this late goal. When you lose games like this, how does that affect your confidence going into the bigger games you are going to face at Sunderland?
Sunderland and Ipswich Town, I feel like they are very familiar with each other because I believe they
Mm.
have played championship football together. So, but what I noticed was I don't know when Sunderland became very careful. Like they were playing with a lot of caution. Ipswich Town were ready to take risks. Like I was not seeing the intensity that they used to play last season from the Premier League. So Ipswich Town, even if you check their games during the championship, sometimes they will even be losing, and then you see that effort. I believe it's because of that kind of maybe that kind of intensity that they have that Chelsea saw the lap and had interest in the lap. So
Mm.
Ipswich Town is one. I feel like they are one underdog that you don't expect them to make some kind of moves, and then they make some kind of moves. I just feel like Sunderland it got into their head because of maybe their performance last season. I don't know, but then I feel like they should they should have just given us that their boy, that their guy, since they know that they will start messing up this season. Because to me, I'm not seeing that intensity that they carried from last season. I feel everybody's still on holiday. Let's see what happens in their next game. But then I'm not there's like Ipswich Town where they had chances, yes, but then their chances were not like they were not ready to go all out to give it like against their former championship team. It does not really to me, I feel like they were very cautious, or maybe the familiarity between them from the championship to the Premier League. I just feel like they played with familiarity. If they were playing with clubs like maybe Liverpool and the likes, they would put they will have a point to prove. But then I feel like now they say, okay, these ones we are familiar with them. It's not going to be too hard for us to, sometimes overconfidence too. And when you see that it's not a game that you expect, then you try to be careful. You, I don't know, but then I feel Sunderland did not give me that vibe from last season. I feel like they will be like Leicester City, after
Okay.
they have a good season and then they go back home. To me, I feel like
Yeah.
if they continue like this with this attitude, I'm not even talking about their performance. I'm talking about their attitude towards the game. It was not even it. They didn't even play like the Sunderland that I saw last season. So.
Yeah.
Let's
And
just
I
look
want
at
to
it like
segue
it's
to
the
that.
first game too.
So Ebuka, if you remember, they had a study back line of Ronaldo, Alderete, Ballard, and Mukele, with Rovs at the back. And they're winning so many games at the Stadium of Light and even drawing some big games away. But going into this game, they used Ronaldo, Onine, Ballard, and Monier, the new right back they've signed. Do you think not having Alderete and Mukiele in that back line is going to be a big challenge for them? Especially with also Diarra not playing as well.
Yeah, I mean, for Sunderland, I mentioned Crystal Palace previously as relegation candidates, as in Sunderland will also be there. I mean, coming from the Championship and getting into Europe directly without kind of like understanding the nuances or the uniqueness that is required to play in Europe, I think it's too high a leap for Sunderland, and they'll be found this season. They will really struggle. We know last season Sunderland, the reason why, as in they actually got into Europe or why they were really good was because of their home form. Most of their points were
Yeah.
at home. Away they were 17th away from home when you look at the away table. But then, yeah, the back line, Reinildo, Onine, they definitely miss Mukele. Mukele is he's a key player for that side. Alderete, I think he came on and he gave the ball away from which Jack Clark scored. And
Yeah.
so I think there's still some rustiness in him because he's not had some games yet. However, I think their next game against Fulham, I should be expecting a win because it's at home and they are very, very good at home.
Okay.
However, I would say it was tough on them because literally they were supposed to get a point, but if not for that mistake. But I think they should be able to bounce back for the next game at home. But long term, are they really equipped to take on the Premier League and also be in Europe? That is a question I don't think they can answer.
They
Okay.
can't
So
even answer that
Henry,
right now.
yeah, I agree. I agree. There was something I saw on Ipswich, and they signed a certain Julio Enciso. He was someone that
Oh
played
my,
very well in Brighton
I love.
before going to Strasbourg.
I need him to be. There are two people I look at to be Bruno Fernandes' replacement: Morgan Gibbs White or Julio Enciso. Enciso is
So
good.
yeah, that
Enciso.
run for the goal was beautiful. He took the ball from his half,
Enciso was my
skinned the
standout
first
player in
guy,
that match.
skinned the next one, and give that assist. So, how big of a player do you think he is? And do you think he's going to last in Ipswich? Do you think after next season he's going to be snapped for like 80, 90 million pounds?
That's a difficult. He has to prove his form consistently.
No, because last year in Strasbourg, he actually scored 12 goals and had 9 assists. So I think I was even surprised to see him leave from Strasbourg to Ipswich.
And the Premier League is a different ball game, no. The league is a bit more intense, and I fear usually this type of players, especially when you play in these type of teams that run and defend a lot, you tend to burn out, especially close to Christmas, January. So I mean that's going to be, because for him the quality is there. It's never a doubt about that. It's just about, can he maintain that form over the course of 10 months? That's the question, and that's been the big question over time. That if he can be able to replicate this form, over the course of 10 months, I think he would probably be looking at a big move next, maybe to a decent team that plays in the Champions League or Europa League. I think for him, it's just about showing that he can mix it up with the big boys week in, week out. But doing that in Ipswich Town is going to be very difficult also, because looking at the quality of the Premier League, it's not very easy for such that kind of flair player, technically gifted, to excel in a team that would for most of the season defend deep that much.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be tricky. But I mean, we just watch and see how he can show his quality in the next couple of months.
Okay, awesome. So Ibuka, let's go to the next one. This was Glasner's first home game for Nottingham Forest against Leeds United. Yes, all it took in the end was a lovely free kick from Anton Stark. But this is someone that we already know has this record of set pieces. So what was your take on the game? And do you think someone like Stark would be a mega player for Leeds going forward this campaign?
Stark is, if he was younger, he would have been my perfect replacement as in for Casemiro in midfield if he was younger. But he's always been great. I said it last season when he came from Hoffenheim that he's the one to look out for, one of the key players to look out for, and he's literally not broken stride. Same form he had last season, taking it into this season. He is, I would say, the most important player, not even Calvert-Lewin, and Stark is. The game yesterday was more of, I would say it was balanced. It was an even game between both sides. Both sides had chances they didn't take. There was this chance to the far post that fell to Igor Jesus, which is skied. Yeah, which is skied. Like that should have been it should have been a goal. But all in all, I think for Leeds United, great start. They were good in preseason. They didn't lose any game in preseason. I think so, if I'm not mistaken. And then clean sheet, great game. In their next 4 games, they have 3 games at home. And I think they should be able to at least see another as in 7 points. And if you have 10 points out of your starting 5 games, that's very, very good. So I see them as in continuing with this great form.
Okay, awesome. So Henry, when Glasner joined the club, there was some expectation from him, being a man that he had done very well at Crystal Palace. Was that a surprising managerial change to you? And,
For
and,
me,
and, and how far did he can take Nottingham Forest?
for me, if you ask me, I think that was a backward move. Um, I, why? I'll tell you why. Because I feel like even though on the face of it, right, on the face of it, it looks like Nottingham Forest would be that team that is a bit more progressive. Because I think Crystal Palace are very content with just existing in the Premier League. Being a
Yeah,
mid-table
yeah.
team, they've just get their local English London lads, the vibes and whatnot, and they're okay. Nottingham Forest, they look like a team that should, because the owner is very passionate about football. They look like a team that can back the manager. But I think that the atmosphere around Nottingham Forest in the last 16 months or so, like from when or 12
Can be
months
very toxic.
from when Nuno Espirito Santo left to Postecoglou coming in, the whole thing sacked about two managers. Um, I don't think that's a place that you want to go to, right?
Mm,
And if you're getting off on a bad start, you could see yourself getting sacked before November potentially,
yeah,
and that's ruining all the work that you did with Crystal Palace in the last 24 to 36 months, right? So
true.
I necessarily felt like that was a move that he didn't need. He should have either waited it out at Crystal Palace or tried to get a move to a more stable Premier League side that is kind of mid-table-ish, and then he can work his magic there. But I felt like Nottingham Forest is it's not a right place for somebody like him who is really calm. Like Nottingham Forest is a chaotic place, and it has been shown over time that Postecoglou has no patience. Right, as a person, Marinakis, I mean to say, he has
Yeah.
no patience. Right, if you're losing a couple of games, you're not. He's dipping into
He's
his
trigger
checkbook and
happy. Yeah,
you're gone. So
true.
I think he will be starting that job under pressure. Whatever he has done at Crystal Palace is not going to play a big role at what happens to him at Nottingham Forest. So for me, that was a very surprising move to move from Crystal Palace to Nottingham Forest, and he shouldn't have made that move.
Okay, fair enough. So we have Farouk on the chat. Big up, bro. Shola, always good to have you. So, God, let's talk about the signings that Leeds made. Harry Wilson from Fulham, he actually had a very good season last year, but he didn't sign a
Yes.
new deal with them. Then they had Muharemovic. Ugh, that guy that has,
Yeah, Muharemovic.
yeah, that has a very good depth. He did very well in the World Cup for Bosnia as well. Then the one that surprised me was James Trafford, who came from Man City. So how big are these signings going to be for them this campaign? Because obviously, this is a team that are not competing on all fronts, probably just the Premier League and the domestic cup competitions. But having these guys that play consistency for them. Then of course, Calvert-Lewin, who played his first full campaign in a very long time last year, 35 games started actually and had 14 goals. Do you think he's going to build on that and going to play well for them this season?
Yeah, but imagine a club spending 40 million on a goalkeeper. First of all, you will know that
Yeah,
there this
I know you can relate now. You spent 71 million on Kepa now. Come on.
no now no don't worry about Chelsea. You know that Chelsea is a different. You are looking at a club that came back to the Premier League, and then
Yeah,
you see that they're trying to compete. From last season, we already know that Leeds. In fact, they trashed us last season now. So you should know that these people they are hungry, but still they still even went to the market to still shop. Like they still
yeah,
went to say, okay, you see, we want to compete. We want to. These are clubs that will actually encourage you. You won't see them as small clubs. You actually give them their flowers. Signing a goalkeeper,
true,
40 million for a goalkeeper. You will know that, see, these guys are not joking. They don't even want him to just
true,
come and make saves. You need to be part of this team that is building. Don't be surprised if you see Leeds in top four this season. But still, we cannot use early games to judge and last season performance. But Nottingham Forest, to me, they messed up. They didn't play around their talented players enough. Gibbs White is a talented player. I don't know if that guy's pattern is different, but then I didn't see Gibbs White move the way he moves. But
yeah,
still, looking at it, this Leeds are bringing in new players, even after knowing that they still have a strong squad. a strong squad that can actually still meet up or still try to stay, but they are not trying to stay. They are trying to compete.
Yeah.
So, and I see they are signing as great signing. Tariq, the goalkeeper, Elvedi. Like even if they're like clever, they make clever signings and from clever clubs. If you look at these players, for instance, like Tariq coming
Yeah, they
from
even signed the
Southampton.
already. I remember. That's true.
Yes, they signed Elvedi, Nico Elvedi from
Yeah.
Hold on, who said
Mönchengladbach.
Elvedi?
Leeds now. He's in
Leeds.
Leeds.
Yes, now
Nico Elvedi.
Leeds. Yes.
Yes, the Swiss
Wow,
defender.
I didn't know that.
They bought him for 7 million
Yeah,
Wow.
I just
from
remember now.
Mönchengladbach. Yes.
Yes.
Harry Wilson was a free transfer. They got Harry Wilson,
That's
Elvedi,
a very
Tariq,
that's a very
and
good
James,
player.
and Dave Trafford. Yes, look. If you look at even the clubs they are coming from clubs that actually performed last season. Sassuolo
Mm-hmm.
actually did a good job last season, if we want to be honest, and they scored a lot of goals. They really tried. So it's a good investment for them currently, and they look like they want to compete. So me, I'm banking on Leeds this season, and their signings were very clever to me.
Can I can
Yeah.
I chip in? I feel like
Go
I
ahead,
feel
bro.
like I feel like they need a prolific striker. I I feel like Calvert Lewin I don't know if he's a bit old and
Oh
it
yeah,
feels like he plays like he's a bit old and
I
you
get
could
it.
see I think towards the point of last season I think between February and May like I don't think he had
Those
much in
dried
his
up
legs.
somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's playing like Bamford. He's
Yes,
now playing like Bamford.
No,
they
and
need
I think that it's been a very long time since he played that consistently because they've been
yeah
struggling with injuries for quite a while.
could also be, but like I feel like the attack is very light, and that was the problem last season too. They had problems scoring goals like in games where it was very tight. Especially like I remember the game against City. They had a couple of chances, but you just knew that they couldn't score on that day. Um, and
Yeah.
I and I think that that is still the biggest problem. Going forward in those tight games, do you have something that comes out? Create a bit of magic from somewhere, which in the long run, I think that would be the difference between them finishing mid-table and like trying to push for the top 10 or finishing like in a European spot. So I don't feel like they have enough in the tank for in their attack.
Okay, fair enough. All right, Ebuka. So let's go to the next one. Jean Paul Van Hecke, 52 million. Matthias Fernandez, 85 million. Sandro Tonali, 100 million. Dubravka, Robertson, Senesi. Signing the whole universe.
Oh,
17 plays back to back, and in their very first game back in the top big time, they were smashed over the park by Brentford. How big was, I mean, how satisfying was it to watch Spurs just be Spurs for you?
It was because because of the Matheus Fernandez deal that they took from us. So I love it.
Oh yeah, they bullied you for that. I remember. That's true.
Yeah, I love it. I love the fact as in they lost, but the way they played yesterday, because I watched this game, it was reminiscent of what they've been doing for the past 2 seasons. It was
Yeah.
as if it's just as if Spurs, no matter what happens, you guys are destined for relegation. Like it's as if they've cost them. Like despite the new players, new centre back pairing, a new left back, a new midfield, it was still the same old thing.
mm.
So I think I don't know where it's coming from. I don't know if somebody has put a spell on Spurs, but it was as bad as it could be. And right now, after they've lost to Brentford 3-0, you're asking yourself, where I just don't know because you're looking at past antecedents, right? If their next game, Newcastle should defeat Spurs at the Tottenham stadium, at the
Stadium.
London stadium, I don't know. It is going to
Nope.
like there should
We
be
should
like
not. We
alarm
should not
bells
forget.
ringing. If Newcastle defeats Spurs in Spurs ground, there should be alarm bells ringing because
I'm sorry,
I
but I
just don't know
think
what
they
this is.
will. I think they will. But we should not
How?
forget that Brentford secured 26 shots, while Tottenham had 9.
Yeah. 9. Do you get like they
So
battered them? Like I was shocked, man.
So
I mean, well, let's go to Brentford. But as in, I have something to say about Brentford because I mean, Keith Andrews is one of. To be honest with you, I'm looking at what Keith Andrews is doing, and if he continues the way he's doing, he's definitely going to a top 5 club. He is definitely going to a top 5 club because he doesn't play reactive football. He dominates you. He's vertical, and then when it comes to set pieces, both offensive and defensive, Brentford is number 1. I mean, he literally has the recipe to manage a top 5 side. And the crazy part was when he was hired last season, we were like, nah, he's
They're
not
gonna
going
go
to get.
relegation.
But I
Just a
can tell
set
you,
piece
I
coach.
have
Giddy
seen
yada
the way he
yada.
plays. I've seen the way he plays. I've seen the way he set this Brentford's team up. Bro, he's better than Carrick. I can tell you. Take it or leave it.
yeah,
He's
Yeah,
better than Michael
yeah,
Carrick.
I agree. God, let's talk about the fact that they're about to also get Mamouche and Savinho for close to almost another 100 and something million pounds. Do you think these guys will change dynamic of Spurs attack? Bearing in mind that they still have Kudus, Kulusevski, Shola and Kerry, Charlison. Like where will all these guys play, man?
well, me, honestly, for me, I think that Savinho and Mamouche will be different from these guys that I mentioned because I feel like I don't know.
Bro, they'll be the same.
I just don't know. I just need to encourage them. But
They will
trust
be the
me,
same.
they,
See, I don't know what somebody has hexed. Someone has probably hexed them. See,
No,
they
I
will
think
be
I
the
think
same.
you
You see, Savio. Savio's one is a very, very short. Mamouche might bring that
Mamouche
extra
might,
thing.
yes, a little bit of
But you see,
spark,
Savio,
yes.
Savio ain't bringing anything to that team.
I think for
But
me the
See,
problem is if you have so many signings, right? At the same time, it takes a while
get them to
to
jail.
to get them to gel to play as a team, right? Usually, you get in 2, 3 couple of players, you mix them with what you have. The problem was that Tottenham, their core was already like completely out of depth, and you get
Yeah, no,
so many new players
but for
at the
some
same
reason,
time.
Tottenham tends to always have players that get injured like for very long. Like Kulusevski has not played ball for close to more than a year now.
I
Kudus,
think
Madison,
that
Kudus, like Javi
Madison,
Simmons, come on.
The
Sholankem,
honest truth is
Javi Simmons,
you cannot
they've
spend
been cursed.
you cannot spend 300
Someone in
million and
Arsenal
then
cost
look that
Spurs.
disconnected. I swear, maybe
bro,
there's something they buried in their stadium. They
you
have to
I
go
say
and
can
an
check.
Arsenal fan
you
cost
can
Spurs.
honestly
I'm telling you.
you can
Because
because
no,
if
you
you get
can,
in
yes,
a lot of
but
new
there's
players, like
but
football is very difficult. If you play this game to a level, like if you get new players all around, it's very
yeah,
difficult to find that synergy, right? You need
but
to
there's a
understand
basic
if you
but there's a
go
basic
short, long.
intensity. Yes, but there's a basic
Yeah,
intensity you expect
you
from
should expect.
professional
Yeah.
footballers.
Yes, this is
These are
their job,
professional
man.
footballers. They have played team football for a very long time, and it is a job. We are not even saying you have to win, but
Yeah,
then there's
but
a basic
it
intensity
doesn't
At
work.
least
It doesn't
that you
compete.
play
At
always
with.
least compete.
it doesn't
At
always
Sports
least
is
work
just
that
compete.
way.
crazy.
It doesn't always work that way because like to a certain degree, right? The manager has an influence in which in how he wants the team to play, right? And if you know De Zerbi for anything, he will live and die on that hill. He will live and die on that hill. He wants to play out from the back, right? And
Yeah, that's
this
why they had
team,
more possession.
this team is completely new. You need to understand how if players love to spin around or like they like it short or they
Okay.
like it long. It takes a while for it to come together. And it's been too short because some of the players coming very late, some came in. It's
Mm.
been really, really short. They didn't have that a lot of time to get
Yeah,
everything together.
but
So it
bros,
might take
I
a
would
while, but
not.
I think you will see the best of Tottenham
Yeah,
probably somewhere around October ish.
but
They will come
I
together
believe
at some point.
that before you sign a player or before players are being signed, even grassroots players, there's something called catalog. Like you can tell how some players play before they even come. You will know some players that like to spin around because
Until
like they
they
have.
come. Until they come. When you come, then you realize that it's not always like how you scouted it.
Anyways,
It has
it
happened a
happens
lot. You
too.
scout the player,
Yes, it has
everything
happened
looks
a lot.
good. When he arrives, it's a different thing. Like the chemistry
Okay.
on the pitch itself, it's like it's a
Yeah,
different
it's
thing.
different. True.
Yeah,
It's
I agree
actually
with you
different.
guys.
I understand. They need time to settle in, but at least, even if they, but I just feel like, honestly, I play football to a certain level, and I can tell that there's a certain level of intensity that you need to, like, you need to see the hunger, at least for them trying to even play. I don't understand, but I don't know. Maybe they've
Yeah,
been
then
jinxed
but the
anyway.
another
So
thing is just
you face you
sorry,
face
another
a
thing is just how
team.
things are very toxic at the club. Their
Yeah,
captain Kuti Romero was going online to write all sorts of stuff. When they had Igor Tudor, that he was trying to talk to Van der Ven could not even allow him go to his tactics. So they've also had some players that have kind of really destroyed the environment that they actually need to
yeah,
go. You know,
and then you
and
go
that plays
face
a
a
role
team
too.
like Brentford that already know what they want. They know how they want to
exactly.
go about it, and they play at home. First match of the season, like they're all at it. Man,
Yeah.
it's
No,
difficult.
but this guy is still a fraud, though. Igor Thiago. At least he was found out in the World Cup.
Jesus
And he has
Christ.
come against some missing
never
penalties.
he's never seen a Brazilian cap again. I can
No, no,
guarantee
no,
you
no,
that.
no,
He's
no,
now
no.
personally a
That's for sure.
grapper in Brazil.
That's for sure.
Personal
That's for
grapper.
sure. That's for sure. All right, guys. So let's go to the next game.
Hold
I
on,
don't
hold
like
on,
I
hold on.
say.
Before we go to this one, I want to call out
Mm-hmm,
something. Mamadou
mm-hmm.
Sangare.
Oh
Mamadou
Ooh,
yeah,
Sangare.
that guy is
He
a
Sangare
has
was
beast,
been
man.
he
he
was the
has
standout
always
player
been
in that
on my radar. He has always been on my radar for him to. He was my Casemiro replacement, but then as it is with United, United will always we can't buy a player from a small club to United.
you can
He
see
has to
a
go.
new
He has
signing
to.
making
They have to go
impact.
through. They have to go to
Straight
a
up,
smaller
oh.
Premier League. See,
It's first
immediate
match, oh,
man of the match, first game,
and you
man
are
of
saying
the
that
match.
they need some players need to no, they
No,
should
but
build
that
the
is what
house
these
inside the
big clubs
club
do.
first.
City, that's what City, Chelsea, Liverpool, Man U, that's what they do. They'll say you have to start from the lower clubs, like go to Brentford or Brighton or
Yeah,
Palace, and
and
then
that's why I was very happy with Zolis because all like Zolis is someone that goes to a Brentford or a Bournemouth first
exactly,
before us to
Okay,
now
see
buy
this.
them. But now we bypass
exactly.
that
Look at
and went
Sometimes
straight.
you
look at
need
Zoli's
to take
impact.
that
Isn't that a new
risk.
signing soon?
Exactly, you need to take that risk because if Arsenal had waited, they would might say, "Oh, okay, surely should probably go to Brentford or Brighton or Palace, and then
Mm.
okay, if he performs, they come." Mamadou Sagara, it is clear. We all know. We can see it. He's going to be a
That
100
The
million
boy,
guy
player
was
next year.
I
the
swear,
guy was the standout man, straight
See,
up.
he's the
he told
The
standout
you.
player
standout.
in that match.
He
Like
I
literally
agree.
it
ran.
was fantastic.
Tonali looked like he was a learner. Where Sangare was.
Ho- And
Tonali, everybody
to
was
that
looking
that
at
was 100 million pounds. Oh.
100 million. Look at Sangare. Let's continue.
Nah, nah.
Let these bigger clubs continue being wasteful and stupid. Rather
With
than
their
get these players at
finances.
this lower amount, loan them for development and bring them back. They will say no, they should go to the Premier League and then they will buy 100 million. Like sometimes, and that's
No.
the reason why Brentford, Brighton, you can say 3-0, 4-0. That's the reason why they are so
Yeah.
good because they understand how these things work.
Yeah. And now
Yeah.
speaking of Brighton, Henry, let's start with you here. All I can say is good evening. You know,
Good evening.
he lost Tillemans, he lost Ezri Konsa, he lost Morgan Rogers. There's one other player that they sold, Lucas Digny, right?
Yeah,
And
Lucas
now
Digne.
his
They literally lost their
goalkeeper,
whole back line and goalkeeper.
yeah, his
They
goalkeeper is
lost
about
Digne.
to go.
They
And
lost Digne.
Watkins,
They lost
Watkins is
Konsa.
going to,
They didn't
yeah.
sign him again now. They
He's going to Al
rejected the
No,
Hilal.
no,
goalkeeper.
yeah. But Watkins is about to go to Al Hilal. That's why he was not
Yeah.
even in the
Yep,
team.
he's about
So
to.
then to not make it worse, you know, Tammy Abraham has enough. You know, play Buendia as a false nine. Like, what the hell was this lineup that was up from Aston Villa?
This is how they
No
want to
choice.
compete this season.
He has no choice. His
Like,
hands are being. I mean, he's been thrown under the bus basically.
Really?
Um,
I don't think so.
I
I don't
mean,
think so.
I don't
He has
think they
signed players
don't.
and he has signed Rogeri, he has signed Zion Suzuki, he has signed some other guys too now. He has signed
Garnacho,
Manzambi, Ganacho. He has signed players too now.
Ganacho.
yeah, of course.
But he signed him now. Come on. He signed him now, didn't he?
God, thanks
It
for that
was
40
part of the
million.
money laundering
Thanks for
scheme.
that. Thanks for that 40 million. Thanks for that 40 million for Garnacho. Thanks, God.
It
Oh,
was part
my
of
God.
money laundering scheme.
You
So
know,
with
Yeah.
the Morgan Rogers and whatnot. So
I think there was an analysis they did with Chelsea and Villa, this buying now.
Yeah, there was that deal is something. There's something definitely fishy with that deal going on with Garnacho moving and Rogers this way. But again, like I said, they didn't get in quality players. You can tell they didn't get
No,
in
Mazambi's
quality.
quality. Johan
No, but
Mazambi's
Mazambi is good though. He's quite good. He had a
Ruggieri,
good World Cup as
Ruggeri's
well.
quality.
Yeah,
Ruggeri's quality.
Ruggeri is better than Digny in that left back slot. I don't think Suzuki is as good as Martinez though. But at least
No,
he's
but
a young keeper that
the
can
potential is there. The potential
has
is there.
potential. Yes, it has potential.
Potential is there.
But the question now is just like the Tottenham issue. When can these guys all blend together, Ibuka, to become a team? Because Premier League does not have time for all that. So what happened today? First 30 minutes, 4 goals were smashed in. And João Gomez,
Honestly.
who was supposed to
Yeah,
replace Onana, had a red card.
The worst debut in Premier League history, in my opinion. João
No.
Gomez had the worst.
Yeah, that was terrible. That was. I was thinking of Mikel Sylvester, but that was in the Championship.
Two goals.
That's different.
I'm
Two
saying
goals,
Premier
two goals
League
in
history.
79 seconds.
See,
They'll not even make sense to me.
See, so
Let's-
he got a yellow card for like as a
For dissent.
For dissent.
Yeah.
He lost the ball for the second. Was it the second goal? Right.
Mhm.
He also gave a stray pass, and then he got a red card. João Gomez was literally the reason why Brighton scored that much number of goals in the first half.
Yeah.
He was the one.
Although the first goal was Pau Torres, that was a very stupid
Yeah,
back pass. I don't know.
the
You should
second
allow
one-
that ball go to the goal kick now.
The second one was João Gomez.
Second one was João Gomez, yes. Toto was a cross.
Yeah, he
Well-
lost his marker. It was a cross. You understand? So I mean, and who scored the last one? Who scored the last goal again?
And it was De Coupe. No, in Sherwood.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
Sherwood.
he was culpable
Is
for I
this-
think
is
the
Jack
second
Sherwood,
and the fourth goal. But
Yeah.
it was a disaster. He like
Yeah.
that was you would see like wolves. The performance was screaming Wolverhampton Wolves, Wolverhampton Wolves, Wolverhampton Wolves. You understand? That was literally
Yeah.
what that performance. It was bad.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like it.
Like I
know.
said, they're not ready for the season. Like, look at the players they lost. It's difficult to replace those quality of players.
You want to compete and you are selling your major players. I don't even understand what they were
Problem
thinking.
is problem is Villa are in somewhat of a financial problem.
Exactly, they have to sell.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They are forced
think
to
so.
sell. Otherwise, they
Yeah.
wouldn't meet up with the PSR regulations.
You know.
And
Well,
the same problem with Newcastle.
yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
So
Yeah,
Like-
but what other thing, Henry? Brighton went to the middle of the Arctic Circle in Norway to play Tromsø on Thursday and flew all the way to come back to England. So their legs were a whole lot heavier than the Aston Villa side that they played on Sunday today.
Yeah.
So how come Villa played that terribly?
well, season just started, so there's not a lot of mileage yet in the legs.
True.
Exactly.
if this was probably somewhere around January, February, I can guarantee you that it will be a different game.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so Ibuka, let's go to the next one. This was the last game that was played tonight. It's quite interesting. You know, everybody was talking about how Newcastle had lost so many key players, and their manager also left, and they're going to be ripped open. But Liverpool actually ran away with this. So
Liverpool are lucky.
They were lucky.
they're very, very lucky.
That's the
They're
word.
very, very because they had the opportunity to just get a penalty later on that, which was a good one for supposed to lie. But looking at Newcastle's squad, you know, losing Gordon, losing Tonali, losing Bruno G, of course, Eddie Howe also leaving. I know they signed a couple of players, Dedic on the right side, Honisek has replaced Pope in goal. Still, I like that Still guy from Ajax, youngster. You know, then of course they had Toure that didn't play, they had Alaji Bamba that didn't play. Is it the time now for people like you and Wissa and Osula to stand up and be counted? Because with the amount of upheavals that have gone on in the club, they need new heroes to rise up. So what's your take on the way they perform?
Oh man, like they were rapid in the first 20 minutes. Like they ran Liverpool for their life. Elanga, Usula, and what's the last guy? I can't
Wissa.
remember his name. Wissa. They were just running like rabbits. And Liverpool could not lay a finger on them. And yeah, I mean, the first goal was like that breakaway. And I think that's what they're going to be focused on. They've got players who can run, who they also have Harvey Barnes. They've got Jacob Murphy. So direct football and verticality would be what I think Newcastle will be focused on this season. However, after the first goal, Liverpool kind of like came back into it, as in great goal from Cody Gakpo.
Yeah,
Then
that was. Yeah, I thought they wanted to sell him to Spurs, or is it that the deal is not going to go
but
through?
now they refused, and then Spurs as in took their focus to Omar Mamouche.
Mamouche,
You
okay,
understand?
true.
They took their focus to Omar Mamouche. So Gakpo, I think Gakpo is staying, but man, Szoboszlai, like I mean, his penalty record is amazing. He's amazing.
Yeah.
And he literally rescued the points for them. And it's just funny because I actually thought, okay, Isak was going to take the penalties, but then Szoboszlai stepped up. So
No, I think Szoboszlai is the penalty taker for
I think so
Yeah.
too, because I think he's also the vice captain.
And that's good to know for FPL as well, because throughout the whole summer we're struggling to know whether it was Szoboszlai that would be the penalty taker.
Yeah, but both of them were on the pitch and Szoboszlai took it. So
Yeah.
it definitely is.
Okay, awesome. So God, they lost Mo Salah and they played Ngumuha as the right winger. Do you think they need to go and get someone like Bakola? But Bakola is more of a left winger.
They got someone already.
Munoz is a left winger.
No, they signed him in.
No, he's a right winger. Munoz is a
Munoz?
right winger. Yep.
No, he's a left winger.
No, he's a left footer. He plays inverted. He's a left footer who plays on the right wing. He was subbed for Ngumuha.
I see left footer. I think he was right footed.
No, he's not right footed. Let me.
Munoz is a right footer that plays on the left wing.
Footed.
Yes.
Serious. But he was declared on the right today.
He played on the right, but he's right footed.
Yeah, very right footed. I know that right now they're trying to get Yankuba Minte, but
they signed.
Have they agreed?
Yeah, 70 million. All done.
Why are you serious?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Not bad.
But he's injured. He's injured for about 6 weeks.
Brighton's just making money now.
That's 150 mil for Minte and Baleba, players that are probably easily replaceable.
Deadites, man. But that's good for them, though. That's good. So now,
Man.
McAllister, it seems like he has lost his place in that squad.
No, he
hasn't. Okay,
no,
so
he hasn't. I disagree. I don't think he has.
No, because if you look at preseason, right, it was mainly Wirtz, Szoboszlai, and Gravenberch.
Yeah, because McAllister was coming
to
late.
the final, no?
He was coming. He's coming back late from the World Cup.
Oh,
do you understand?
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
he came back late from the World Cup because they got to the final. So definitely in that team, right, it's gonna be most likely Szoboszlai and McAllister, not Gravenberch. I think Gravenberch might take a chill pill.
No, who's going to play as a defensive midfielder then?
McAllister.
I don't think that's a long-term
he will
defensive midfield solution.
Just watch and see. He will.
You can, but like you will be too light in midfield.
Yeah, he's more box to box. He doesn't have that agility.
But the thing is that if you play with Szoboszlai alone in midfield with Szoboszlai and Gravenberch, they will also not have control in that midfield. I can guarantee you that. And that's what McAllister brings in.
Yeah, he brings
that control in midfield, which is something that you can see in this game today. Like Liverpool didn't really have that.
The alternative is bye Wirtz.
Or you move Wirtz to the wing.
To the wing.
For who?
On the left. Okay,
then who plays the right? You want to bench Gakpo?
Gakpo is also very benchable now.
What?
Yes.
No. Bro,
he's benchable.
Not under the football.
They almost literally sold him, so that means they don't value him that much.
See, that's what I'm telling you.
Fair enough.
See, fair enough, but as in basically, Iraola said, nah, Liverpool were considering it.
You need him because you don't have depth. You need him because you need depth in the team, right? But he's benchable. And the thing with Wirtz is that
Wirtz should be the benchable one. I'm telling you.
Wirtz, unfortunately, right? To be honest with you, right, in that team, I think Wirtz can be the person to sit out.
Exactly.
He should be the one, but with the money spent on him, he's not going to sit out.
That's
easily.
it. Now we're talking.
He's not going to sit out.
They want their money on the pitch. They want their money doing the talking on the pitch.
All right, guys. So let's go to the outstanding fixture, and then God, let's talk about your game tomorrow night, Chelsea Fulham. What are your expectations for Jabi Alonso this season? Bearing
You
in mind that
know,
you finished in 10th place last year, shamefully, I would add,
Rub it on
and
our
now
face.
yeah, no. I rubbed on Ibuka's face last year. So with joy in my heart, I'll do the same. But you guys had a very good preseason, and Joao Pedro has really been cooking. So what's your take on this game against Fulham tomorrow? What formation do you expect, and how do you think the Chelsea is going to approach the game?
Well, I don't want to put my hopes up. Everybody's just shouting Zabi Alonso, Zabi Alonso. Me, I need to see it happen. And I want to start by watching the first game. Me, I don't care about what happened in the preseason. Like I said, with Arsenal's performance, I don't judge preseason anymore. I just want to wait to see what we want to play. Me, I'm just like this because I will be the first to blast them tomorrow because all this we are buying the whole world. We're doing money laundry, we're doing this one, we're feeling ourselves. So I bought this one, I bought that one. I mean, it's tomorrow. Me, I don't have any expectation. I just want to see what Zabi Alonso wants to do tomorrow and what the players wants to do. I don't know because there were some little controversies about Enzo, this one now, and I don't want anybody to use it as excuses because now they have enough players and they have enough quality to compete. To me now, I want to see. It's not preseason. Preseason is nothing to me. Arsenal has proved that to me already. So let's
Okay,
just
fair
hope. Me,
enough.
I'm hoping. I'm
Okay,
hoping to
so
see. But if he starts the lab tomorrow, or some of the careless players that we have, that's where me I will have problem. Maybe.
yeah, so Ibuka, Alvaro Arbeloa, this is his first game with Fulham, and he signed Gonzalo Garcia from Real Madrid, a player that he's very, very familiar with. What are your prospects for that guy in the Premier League this season?
I think Fulham is going to struggle. They're really going to
Very
struggle
well.
because
Very well.
Marco Silva was. We know we've always known Fulham in the Premier League as a yo-yo club. Promoted relegation, promoted relegation, promoted relegation. They were always doing that until Marco Silva came in and steadied the ship. Now that element of stability is leaving the club. Will they go back
Mm.
to being a yo-yo club? And then you have Abeloa, who is literally as in managerial novice. Let me use the word because his very first managerial stint was with Real Madrid. And then the next thing, he just went to get in there. How many years of experience does he have? And you're coming to the Premier League. Fulham is
Yeah,
really, really going to struggle. The
they will
physicality
struggle.
required to play in the Premier League, for which they bought Bukayo Garcia for, I'm not sure he has it. I'm not sure he's going to give them the goals. They've lost that experience in what's his name, in Raul
Jimenez,
Jimenez and Harry Wilson. Where
yeah.
are the goals going to come from? Who is going to create? The question now is, will Oscar Bob step up to the occasion? Iwobi has been decent in preseason. He's been scoring a number of goals and been giving some assists. But the question is, and I think Sasa Lukic, is he still with them? Because I think Lukic went
No,
to
he has moved to Hull,
Lucius is gone. Lucius
to
is gone.
Ipswich,
To
Ipswich.
Ipswich.
exactly. So Sasa
So,
Diop
so
is
Lukic,
now,
gone.
they
Vinicius is
have only,
gone.
they have only Sanderberg as their DM.
it's going to be, I think, Fulham. Another, see, like I said, this season,
Bender is
relegation
gone.
candidates. Who
but you
has gone?
can't have six teams in relegation
Bro, I'm
now.
telling you, no, they're gonna. I'm telling you, it's gonna be. They're gonna be 6 teams struggling for relegation this season.
There
Six.
will be 16.
I'm telling you. See the gap in that lower half of the table, like 11, 12, 13th, right, and 14th, is gonna be so deep, as in so wide from 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I'm telling you. So yeah, Fulham. I think yeah,
They lost a lot of players. How would you even
they've
lose?
lost experience, they've lost goals, they've lost assists, they've lost experience also in the dugout. They're going to struggle.
Exactly. Remember,
Yeah, and
Chukwueze even helped
even have
them.
Anderson that has a red card that is suspended for this game too.
Exactly. So, and you know how it is. Sometimes I tell people, whenever as in you are struggling and you have Nigerians in your club or you have Africans in your club, look over your shoulder because look at Leicester.
Okay, so Henry, let's talk about Morgan Rogers. He's basically the most expensive player in the transfer window, 117 mil. And there's some expectations that are coming with that fee. Obviously, when he played against Sociedad in his first match, he scored a goal, which is quite good. But do you think he'll have that pressure on his shoulder going into this campaign? Or would he have the same cool demeanor he has always shown in his time at Aston Villa?
Um, I think his time at Aston Villa was relatively a free pass. He's about to understand what pressure feels like now. Playing for playing for Chelsea, a team that has expectations, week in, week out. He would understand what it means to be a 120 million player very soon. There's no time for I score this weakness. I ghost for
You don't
like three
score.
weeks. I ghost for like 3 weeks. And you know the worst thing? The worst thing is that he's not he's not a player that's going to give you 30 goals, right, in the season. But if
Yeah.
you cost 120 million, trust me, the lens at which the media views you with is completely going to be different. They will expect him to get a goal or assist every week or every other
Yeah.
week.
Basically,
And
Kroos he can nod it himself too.
unfortunately, right, that will not be the case with him. So he will this season. It will be very, very. From what I see, it will be very, very. The pressure on him will be much, and it just depends on how much he can handle that pressure. And unfortunately, it's not his fault that he cost 120 million. But he would be left to deal with the pressure this season, and it would show a lot about his mental status, based on how he is able to handle the pressure for Chelsea this season, and how Alonso can be able to also help him, to navigate that. So,
Okay,
I
fair
just feel
enough.
like
So go let,
I
let
just feel like
go
it's
ahead.
pairing. I just feel like it's pairing and understanding how the players can actually function because trust me, there's no pressure on Fulham right now. The whole pressure is on Chelsea. And we cannot have a slow start. There's nothing like a slow start with all the money spent, all the hype,
Yeah,
everything.
and especially with that narrative that you guys are playing one game per week. You know, that was the narrative they used for Man United last
Mind
season,
you,
and they cooked
yes,
and came third. You know,
yes,
so you have no
yes. So
excuse. But my
we have
question to
time.
you is this: Cole Palmer, are we going to
Yeah.
see
Kopama.
the new version of him again, or will it still be the same? Because obviously, when he first broke out, it was amazing, right? But started having his injuries, started having his pressure. Do you think we can see
It's
the
the
real
media,
Palmer
it's
this
the
season?
English media that made him amazing to me. See what happened to Foden. Almost see the English media will make you look like honestly, if you check the stats, yes, he was amazing. He started when he was when he was actually doing well in Chelsea. If you notice, Chelsea was not really doing well. So
Mm,
when you have a club that is not even really performing well, and you say you are a standout player, and you start to bring one or two magic. If you notice in Chelsea's midfield, there's something we have always lacked: a creative midfielder, somebody that can actually beat one or two players and give an accurate pass. We don't have
yeah.
those kind of players in Chelsea. Is it Casedo? Casedo that is stiff, that is straight, that is a. We don't have
Yeah,
even
he's a
Enzo.
bricklayer.
Enzo is. Do you understand? Enzo is not even. He can so Palmer is just one of those players in Chelsea. Is one of is in fact he's a standout player in Chelsea that can actually that possesses that kind of magic to maybe beat players and all that. But then he's not even fast. So
Mm.
he needs people around him that can, when he, if you notice when he was pairing with Jackson, yes, Chelsea was not really performing so well,
Oh
but if you notice
yeah,
that chemistry
but
between
they
them,
were balling actually. They're
they
balling.
were balling. So if Palmer finds, to me now, Palmer is like a general, is now like a regular player. Just we're expecting because there's nothing, I can't say anything special that he does that makes him except he's young. Oh, he brought a new spice in the Chelsea team. That was what Chelsea was lacking. Somebody who is creative, that has that confidence enough to beat players, has that confidence
Yeah.
enough to drag defenders to beat them. We don't have those kind of creativity. So now, if you have somebody who is that slow like Palmer and he has that creativity and he has a fast guy like Rogers, I feel like it's just understanding. If they can understand each other, they will complement each other and do well. But Palmer making a difference alone by himself, me, I don't see that happening.
Okay, fair enough. All right, guys. So let's go to our surprise of the week. And Ibuka, we'll start with you. What surprised you this week in the game week?
Of course, it's United Hall. There's no other surprise.
I
Anybody,
swear, that's the
anybody,
shocker.
anybody that goes, I like 2-0. If it was a 1-0 draw, a 1-0 draw is a surprise. A nil draw is a
Mm.
surprise. A 1-0 loss is a surprise. What to talk of 2-0? Man,
Yeah.
Like I said, Ipswich withdraw, carry out.
Okay. What about you, Henry?
For me personally, Brighton 4-0 over Aston Villa. I didn't see that coming from
Honestly.
anywhere. So for me that was the shock of the week.
Okay. What about you,
No,
God?
but they didn't finish the game. To me, it's Man U, Hull City, because Brighton didn't even finish the game with Aston Villa didn't finish the game with 11 players. So we can still excuse them. After first half, you guys were down by to 10 men. But Man U, what is the excuse after the amazing end of last season that you had?
But it's not very unusual for Man U now.
It's unusual now, bros.
No,
It's not
it's
now
not.
that you say it's not
It's not.
unusual.
How is it not?
3 months does
Usual?
not
A
change
promoted team. Do you know the
the.
last time? No, let me tell
No,
you.
but then a
Don't
newly
change the
How
way I
promoted
see
usual
team,
it is.
United
bros.
right now.
A newly
No, let me tell
promoted
you how
I'm
team.
not. I
usual it
wasn't
is.
surprised.
No, that
It
how
was
you say
Ah,
you're
just
surprised. No,
Panther
let me tell you.
again.
No, let me tell you why. As in, I don't understand why you say you're surprised, because one, right? Manchester United has never lost to Hull, right? That's
yeah,
one.
52 years ago.
Yeah, 52 years ago was
Yeah.
the last time they lost. As in
Do
the
you know how
last.
many? Do you know how many teams have never won at Old Trafford in the last 5 years that have gone there and won?
Exactly. Exactly. I completely understand that.
Bonanza now.
I don't
Man always
understand.
gives the bonanzas now.
Take
See,
everybody
no,
take.
the question here is, it's a promoted team, right? And the promoted team starting
Yeah.
the season at home. And usually, as in against the top 5 side, no top 5 or top 6 side has lost as in the opening game of the season to a promoted team. Like
Mm.
it's literally rare. So that it's a huge surprise. Like even if the bookmakers, how many odds was the game? 8 points. So definitely losing the game was a surprise. Because if it was a surprise to you, of course, then why as in you should have probably put as in some amount of money on it if it was a surprise. But I mean, it's
No,
a huge
I mean, I didn't expect United to lose. To lose, I didn't expect United to lose. But them losing that game, it's not. It's not like Real Madrid losing to Hull City. It doesn't carry that same weight. Like United have been
Okay.
terrible for the last couple of years. So like
see, yeah,
that
we've been
result
terrible
is
for the
not.
past couple of years, but not Hull City, not the sixth, the
They
sixth place
lost last
championship
year. They
team.
lost last year to the last place in championship. As at the time they played that Carabao Cup. What team was that
You
again?
can say that
Grimsby.
yeah, you can say that
Grimsby.
again.
Literally, Grimsby knocked them out while they were still
Yeah,
in
you can say
last
that again.
position. So like it's not unusual. It happened last 12 months ago.
True. You have a point. Like, you have
You
a
have a
point.
point, Sha. You have a
Yeah.
point. True.
That was
You have a
epic.
point.
All right, guys. So let's go to the next phase, which is the injury and suspension watch. So in game week 1, we had a couple of injuries: Semi Ajayi and Nobel Mendy. For the end of the day, 2 guys that scored against Man U,
That's
but
called though.
injured. Then Chadi Riyad was also injured in the Crystal Palace game. And Siso had a knock and had to leave. And of course, Elliot Anderson too. Then, of course, we had the suspension for João Gomez. So, Ibuka, looking at these players here, who has the biggest impact of not being available?
I mean, it's Ajayi and Mendy that Hull City centre back pairing. The fact they will
Yeah.
not be available for Coventry City, I mean, it's gonna be really bad. Like it's gonna be really bad for them. I don't know how they are going to recover, especially with just one centre back, but 2.
Yeah.
I don't know how
Yeah.
they're going to
You
deal with
see,
it against Coventry, but I think it's going to impact Hull City the most.
Yeah. So just aligning with what you guys said about surprise of the week, we have FPL Bishop Steph for coming here. He said United had developed a nasty habit of breaking long-standing records. And then there is no way when
exactly.
you guys sign Moyes. You have no one Man U since 1987. Come true. They just they were like a national cake that are giving all records. I remember. So yes, I agree with you, Buka. Mendy and Ajayi is a big one for all. What about you, Henry? Who comes to mind?
I mean, you can't look further than the centre back pairing of Hull City there, because they're very light at on numbers, and if you have 2 of your first choice centre back pairing being injured for a long term, that's not a good sign for Hull City. I think the rest of the players there, I think they're in teams that, but maybe Enciso might. I don't know how.
So yeah.
I don't know how long he's gonna be out for, but I think Hull City suffer more with their centre back pairing. I think Enciso, Ipswich might struggle a bit with creating chances, but they'll still be okay. But if you lose your centre back pairing, man, yeah,
Yeah.
You
it's a
concede a
double
lot
whammy.
of goals.
It's a
So
double whammy.
Yeah.
and even FPL Bishop said that Siso loss will be a big hit for them, because obviously you could see the difference it showed in the
Yeah.
hour that he played in that game, you can see that Ipswich, I saw you guys said it in the chat today. The main thing will be defending a whole lot more, but they will have that guy that will have that flair to do things further up the pitch. So you don't have many more if you back to Satan football for sure. So God, what about you?
Yeah, well, Esco is a big loss for Ipswich, but to me, the centre back pairing too is very very important because if you look at it, Hull City, their style is mostly defensive football
Yeah,
because I feel like they believe more in their defenders. And if you look at how defense affects a game, you see Liverpool's game too. I believe that their defense too was. I saw how they pressured Frimpong today. They were blasting that wing. I don't know. The guy tried.
But I think Kekes was worse.
yeah, no, but Newcastle, their wingers are like bush babies, though. So fast. Like,
Honestly, like I think
so that's the
they are
problem.
the home of wingers.
Yeah, I
Because
agree. I agree.
so, but
All right,
the centre back pairing
guys.
is
Yeah,
the
it's
to
gonna
me
be
the
a big
greatest
one for
loss.
them. I agree.
Yeah, because they are a defensive team. So
Okay, so let's look at the table. So at the bottom of the table, that's where we can see Buka and the likes of his folks. Then again, it's like familiar surroundings for you. Before Carrie came, this was your dean. Under Amorim, you guys were cooking in the Europa League final while you were 16th, or that were 17th. So I don't think you should be any bit surprised. But obviously, in the early days, anything that has an probably in the bottom half. But looking at the bottom half of the table, as I always do, who are the teams that you nominate to go to the top half? Ibuka.
Okay, so Chelsea and Fulham haven't played, so I would say as Manchester United should. If they don't, Kyle should be fired. I'm telling you, Kyle should be fired. People who should be going into the top half. Then I think probably AFC Bournemouth. They should also be
Okay.
going into the top half. Sunderland should be going into the top half too. So United, Bournemouth, Sunderland.
Okay, what about you, Henry?
Definitely. Even if I coach the United team against Ipswich, they should win that game.
Bro, don't be shocked.
You be surprised. I'm welcoming
don't be
this
shocked.
season.
Don't be shocked too.
At home to Old Trafford, they will win that game. They will definitely go up. I think maybe it's difficult. I think United should probably be the only team that might safely go into the top half. The rest, I think, is going to be a struggle.
Okay, what about you, God?
Well, me, I see Man U. I see Man U trying their best, but
That's right, yes.
Yeah, and FPL should show you. Said the
Oh my god!
should be
Oh
very
my god! My club,
no,
my club.
Issue don't get to
Oh
defensive
my
because of
god!
the loss of their flair player. But if you see that happening, once SSO is injured for the long term, they'll have no choice but to get another DM that will just add to the rank. And they're going to Old Trafford next. I don't think they will need excuse for the Old Trafford kind of game. They want to
even if he plays, it will not make any outcome.
Yeah, in all honesty. So now let's go to the top half. What teams can potentially drop down, Ibuka?
Team to potentially drop down. Ipswich.
Okay.
Ipswich to potentially drop down.
There's a hope for what?
Bro, based on hope, I'm telling you, because it's like I said, you don't know what you don't know what you get at United. So Ipswich to drop down, and I would say I think just Ipswich only.
Okay, Henry.
Yeah.
For sure, Ipswich will drop.
And Newcastle, yeah. Sorry, let me also add Newcastle, probably.
So you're backing Spurs for that one.
Yeah, I'm backing Spurs to at least. Not even if I'm backing them, like they might draw. Newcastle gets 2 points, not enough to be in the top half, and 2 points will just take you to the bottom half.
Yeah, I think Newcastle also drops. I think Spurs will have too much at home for Newcastle on that day. So Ipswich and probably Newcastle.
Okay, so God, what about you? I love this comment. He said that Chelsea have been riding the mid-table since May. You're used to 10th, that's like so this one. So what about you, bro?
Anyway, me, I see Ipswich and Hull City dropping. Trust me. I see Coventry picking up
Yeah, that would be a
Gonna be
nice
a
match to watch, though.
Yeah, honestly, I see Coventry picking themselves back up because they will meet their mates now, if at all they would.
Yeah.
Because I don't think any club coming like from the championship should feel bad losing to Arsenal, honestly. So I don't
Yeah.
feel they should even judge their play with that. Because you cannot come and be playing with the champions and expect, I don't know, even if I'm not saying you should celebrate though, but I'm
No, 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 no,
but
no. Obviously,
it's
like
just
right now,
common.
when I cry, it's like rain to all
Mm.
of you. So it's understandable.
So it's just common. I just see Coventry coming back to because they proved this in the championship to be Hall's. They are Hall's elders. So I see them. I see them like giving, and now that they even have injured players too. ah, I feel like it's a big loss for them this period. So I see them
Fair,
dropping, honestly.
fair enough. All right. So the final section of today's podcast, where we talk about our prediction for game week 2. So in game week 38 last year, we had or last 3 months ago, I said last year, we had Achike and Nonso come up here, and Achike stung the place with just 3 predictions correct. While Nonso had 7. The record still
Wow.
remains 7. I don't think anyone has done more than 7 before. So maybe
Wow, no,
that'll
so
be
got
you
7.
guys that will cook this time. So God, what we do here that we'll call a fixture and you will tell us your prediction. And when we get to the next week, we'll look at what you predicted, to see if you align. Obviously, to know that in the future we'll start giving you school fees to be betting something like that, just in case. This is the future. So I will start with you, Henry. Crystal Palace, Man City.
1-1.
Ebuka.
I don't see Crystal Palace scoring. 2-0 win, City.
God.
I see. So I still go with 2-0 win. I don't see Crystal Palace scoring Man City.
Okay, so Crystal Palace. So let the consistent. If it's 0-2, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
0-2.
So
0-2.
home score, away score. Because I'm
Okay,
going to record all this. I need you to
sure.
play the right
Okay, 0-2.
steps. So what about you, God? 0-2 as well.
Yeah, 0-2.
Oh, nice. Henry, Liverpool, Nottingham Forest.
Mm, 2-1.
Ibuka,
3-1.
God,
1-0.
Henry, Bournemouth, Everton.
1-1.
Ibuka,
2-0.
God,
2-2.
Henry, Coventry Hall.
2-1.
Ibuka,
2-2.
God,
3-1.
Henry, Spurs, Newcastle.
Tricky. 3-0.
Ibuka,
2-2.
God,
1-2.
Henry, Chelsea, Brighton.
Brighton. Oh. 2 all.
Ibuka,
Chelsea always finds it difficult against Brighton. I would say 1-2.
God,
2-1.
Henry, Leeds, Brentford.
1-2.
Ibuka,
2-all draw.
God,
This one is tricky. I'll take 2-3.
okay. Henry, Sunderland, Fulham.
Sunderland to bounce back. 2-1 there for
Ibuka,
Sunderland.
3-0.
God,
3-1.
Henry, Man United, Ipswich.
4-0.
Ibuka,
3-0.
God,
2-0.
and finally, Henry, Aston Villa, Arsenal.
1-3.
Ibuka,
0-2.
God,
0-3.
Nice. Okay, so we also have a comment from Farouk. He said that he also comment with slaps Hall that he's that petty. All right, guys. So this has been fun as always. So let's just
No
have a
shame.
recap of how the game week was for you. And as I say, because how was game week one for you?
Shocks. Brighton 4-0. United losing to Hull. Those are shock results. Yeah, I mean, but the Premier League has started. It's just match day one. There's so many games to come up. It's gonna be exciting, but I'll keep an eye out for City. They might struggle, looking like they might struggle, but then, like I always say, going into the season, title challengers to Arsenal, Chelsea.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Henry, thoughts on game week one in general?
It was good to get some football again back in. So, but definitely nice from Arsenal, nice and crisp. A couple of the big teams have struggled on the opening day, but I think with passing weeks, I think they should get better.
Okay. God, what about you? How was game week one for you?
Yeah, it was to me. It was a bit dicey, just having two draws, and the rest losses. So me, I just feel like I don't judge first games. Let's say it's the opening. They're just welcoming us to the. So from next week, I feel like I feel like then I can pinpoint how I feel about it. But right now, I just feel like okay, new managers, new players, new dynamics, and everything. It was interesting actually, especially the Liverpool game, and some other games, the Man U games too. Let's look at it. Let's look at it that okay, the underdogs they actually did well because if I was Man U too, I would not even believe that Hull City would do that kind of stunt towards me, you know. But then, like you said, it's just the beginning, and then it's interesting. I really enjoyed it this weekend, and we hope that they give us more,
Okay.
more, more fun next week.
Yeah. So of course, this was fun. Ibuka and Henry are regulars, and God, I really enjoyed your first podcast with us. Thanks for coming through. For everyone in the chat, as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to All About Arsenal. Going into the new week, obviously the latest news: Martinelli about to go to Saudi Arabia. Thank heavens for that. Hopefully, we'll get good news. You know.
That's
So
not
there'll be more
nice.
content as we go to the stream. But thanks for everyone that was here tonight, and see you guys till then. It's been